Endorsed a candidate to run against Republican Representative Thomas Massie, who has opposed and criticized some of the Trump administration's aims. How would you address those who fear that principled disagreement or independent thinking is discouraged within the party because of how it can be framed as a betrayal instead of as internal accountability or an opportunity for debate and negotiation?
So it's a very good question. And let me say, this one is hard for me. And the reason it's hard for me is because Thomas Massie and he's one of the first people that ever reached out to me about my book or about political office. I've known Thomas Massie well before I ever got involved in politics. Thomas's wife died well, maybe it was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. It was a little while ago. She died very unexpectedly, was a very sweet and kind woman. And I was probably one of the first people that called Thomas to offer my condolences. I think the problem with Thomas, and I've told him this in private, and now I guess I'll say it in public, is it's one thing to disagree with the party on a particular issue. It's one thing to have your independent stand on a number of questions. And by the way, some of the stuff where Thomas Massie has been independent against the Republican Party, I've agreed with him with. Thomas and I worked together during 2023, where I was trying to stop the limitless flow of American money to Ukraine. And Thomas was one of the people I was working closest with it. But that's one thing. Being independent, having your own opinions is one thing. Voting against the party on every single issue, you're eventually going to make too many enemies. And that is the problem that Thomas has had. It's not one issue. It's not 3 or 4 issues. It's that every time that we've needed Thomas for a vote, he has been completely unwilling to provide it. That is why the President of the United States has trained his ire on Thomas Massie. It's because we can never count on him for some of the most difficult votes. I wish that weren't the case. I say that as somebody who's known Thomas well before I got into politics, but politics is politics. And when you always vote against the party, you can't expect the party to actually back you.
That's right. Can't expect the party to back you when you're always voting against the party. What's up, everybody? I'm Jim. I'm here to tell you some news. How you doing? Like the shirt? I like the shirt. New shirt. Not new, but new shirt on this show. I haven't worn it. But so what's up, everybody? Happy to see you. Great to be here. Let's see who's here. Lady Bama, what's up? Yeah, what's up? Brian Ogden, great to see you. Mr. Sticky Sean, Catherine K, awesome. Jay Schwartz, good to see you. All the people here, good to see you. We're getting some news. We got some good stories to talk about it. We got the stuff happening with the TrumpRX. Cool shirt, thanks. Yeah, fancy shirt. Yeah, with TrumpRX, we got stuff happening with Ken Paxton being endorsed by Trump at the last minute here. Got some shenanigans with Massie to talk about. Also got Stacey Abrams' sister blocked a misconduct report that came out on a bunch of Supreme Court candidates running in Georgia. And also there's some news about, let's say, how should we put this? Some climate change stuff that they've walked back. Maybe they're going to start saying something about ice ages. Who knows? We also have some stuff about the shooting that happened yesterday. I'm seeing some reports. I'm not 100% sure, but there's some reports about maybe these people that participated in the shooting might have been, well, trans. We'll see. I don't know. We'll look into it. Why am I looking dark? What is going on here? Anyways, it looks good. So let's get into it. Oh crap! I didn't even do the goal. That's right. As usual, a libertarian who always votes as libertarian shouldn't be running as a Republican. Yeah, I mean, I think we need to get that. I think we need to have more parties. We really need. Yeah, what's up, America Jane? Great to see you. I think we need more parties. So yeah, let's talk about the goal. There's going to be a goal tonight, as there is every night. It's going to run about 2 hours, but the show's going to be about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. But doesn't matter, if the goal expires on YouTube, and as long as we hit it before I end, I always count it. And the way it works is for every $100 in total that comes in across all platforms, YouTube Super Chats, Rumble Rants, gifted memberships, becoming members, Cash App, PayPal, Coffee, Ko-Fi, whatever you want to call it, super tips, locals coins, Kick and Twitch memberships. I add it all up. When we hit 100, we add an extra hour. And then for each additional $100 that comes in, we add an additional hour to the show. So the show could be 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 6, 8, 12, you name it, as long as you want it to be. That's how long it will be. And as an added bonus, when we hit $50, we activate Bella Vision for the evening. There's Bella. She's just laying there chilling. Or if an individual person is so generous that they donate $25 or greater as an individual, we automatically activate Bella Vision. That could be a $25 super chat or a Rumble rant or a Cash App, a PayPal. It could even be like 5 gifted memberships on YouTube or Rumble or Kick or Twitch or anything like that. Or, I don't know what it is on Locals Coins, but we add it all up. If you donate $25 as an individual, it doesn't have to be all at once. We activate Bella Vision for the evening. So let's do this. Let's get into this first story. And for the first story, we're going to talk about the Ken Paxton thing. Here's Stephen Crowder talking about it.
President Trump just endorsed Ken Paxton, the Texas Republican primary runoff.
Right.
Good.
Finally.
Right.
I got flyers in the mail yesterday for, I assume, for Cornyn. It didn't say Cornyn on it that I could see, but it was just Ken Paxton slander ads. Yeah. 8.5 by 11, like full sheets.
All right. Full sheets of slander ads. Yeah. All right. And then we got JD Vance explaining why Paxton is the right choice.
Mr. Vice President, thank you. Today we saw the president endorse Ken Paxton over John Cornyn in the Texas Senate race. Do you think that sends a message going forward for the next cycle to senators, considering running for re-election, or any MAGA-aligned potential candidates that are considering challenging them?
Well, I'd say a couple things, Nick. First of all, I think the president's very gratified by the response that he's heard from the base and from a lot of voters. I think who are passionate about Ken Paxton. We think Ken Paxton is going to be a great senator for the people of Texas, but most importantly, a great United States senator who can work on solving the problems that all of us confront as a country together. I've known John Cornyn for a long time, but unfortunately, when it really counted, Ken Paxton was there for the country, was there for the president, and that's why he ultimately earned the president's endorsement. He thinks he's going to be a better senator, thinks he's going to make a better candidate. And so I do think it sends a message, but really not just the endorsement, but one of the things the president has done very effectively, going back 10 years in his leadership of the Republican Party and the country as president of the United States, is he said, I want people who fight for the good. I want people who can't be bought by corporate lobbyists, who can't be bought by Wall Street, who can't be bought by special interests, who are going to go to Washington and fight for the people who actually elected them to those positions. And I think one of the things we've seen in the Republican Party, while I can't say that all of our representatives are perfect or all of our senators are perfect, we have seen a much better crop of talent come into Washington since Donald Trump has been the leader of the party and the leader of the movement. I do think we're going to continue to see that happening. But I think the message that people should take from this is fundamentally, you have got to serve the people who sent you. And if you don't do that, you're going to find yourself out of step with voters or out of step with the president of the United States. And that's not a good place to be politically.
It's not a good place to be politically. Not at all a good place. Not at all a good place. Trump backs Paxton and well, let me address this real quick. So this guy on Twitch says if I just drop by, he's got a Twitch streamer that has 250.9 thousand followers. Now, why not just say 251,000? Why he has to do the 0.9 is kind of odd. Makes me suspicious. No one paid for Bella. I forgot to take her down. Thanks for reminding me. Thanks for reminding me. Oof. Wouldn't want her up there for free or nothing. Ten Paxton backs South Texas Republicans in the showdown. Is this going to be it? This isn't even going to be a. It's just going to be one of these weird things, isn't it? Yeah, no. So Trump is finally taking sides in the contentious race between the costly Senate race between Ken Paxton and John Cornyn. Yes. Damn it, Brian! You alerted me to the problem, and I fixed it. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. The president on Tuesday, in the highly anticipated announcement, endorsed Ken Paxton, a MAGA champion, a fighter, a winner, a warrior. The president's extremely potent endorsement came 1 week before the runoff between Cornyn and Paxton in right-leaning Texas. And I will tell you that all the rhinos in the Senate are not happy. They're all pissed that jerk-off Cassidy just voted with all the demon rats to limit President Trump's war powers in Iran. We'll see how that goes. Ken's a true MAGA warrior who always delivers for Texas. He will continue to do so in the United States Senate. The two heated rivals topped a crowded field of contenders in early March primary, but since no one cleared 50%, the nomination race is headed into overtime with a runoff scheduled for May 26th. May 26th. The 26th of May. Yes, should be very interesting. Trump teased a long-awaited endorsement on the grounds of his colossal ballroom, which is still under construction, as the Senate mulls whether to provide hundreds of millions in security funding for the project. He just decided that now was the time to endorse after several months of staying neutral because early voting for next week's runoff had opened. 88th RD says, my apologies. I'll try not to be late again. Don't worry about it. Better late than never, they always say, as they say. There are those who say whoever I was going to endorse is going to win. And I don't know if that's true, but historically, that's absolutely true. And I don't like to say it because I don't like to brag. Yeah, Trump does not like to brag. Trump is not a braggart. I think Texans really didn't need an endorsement. Probably not. It looks like Paxton was going to win anyway. So Cornyn or Paxton will face off in a general election against the rising Democrat star, state rep James Tallarico, who's a complete phony, a phony Christian, a make-believe, tries to use it like it's some kind of shield against all his other crap. You were right. You were at the very bottom of my search. Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. I have to take Thursday, Friday, and Saturday off to go home and vote this week. Oh, cool. Well, oh, oops. Sorry you're late. No, you're not late. You're right on time. We just started. We're just getting into the first story. There's Ken Paxton. Let's see.
I'm 3-0. I've won 3 statewide races. So, it's really easy for him to say that when he's losing a primary because he's not delivered for the people of Texas. And he's going to find out tomorrow what that means. He's going to end up losing because he did not take care of his people over the last 24 years in the Senate. This idea that I can't win a race is not true. And the polling doesn't demonstrate that. There's no evidence what he's saying is being true. As a matter of fact, the evidence is just the opposite.
Hey, awesome to see you, John.
Looking at the coming day and the likelihood that we will see a runoff, are you going to engage with Leader Thune at all or anybody in Republican leadership to try to get them to your side if the margin proves pretty wide?
I'm happy to talk to Leader Thune or any of the leadership anytime. I'm here primarily first to represent Texans. So while I appreciate them, my number one thing that I care about is the people of Texas. But I'm also happy to work with them now and in the future. I have no plans of not working with them. But ultimately, I'm responsible first and foremost to the people of Texas.
Last one. Yep. If this does go to a runoff, it's been an expensive race so far. It's going to get a lot more expensive. A, do you have the money to compete in the runoff? And B, what about the president and any endorsement down the road?
Look at it's. I think John spent $100 million. What a waste of money. That money should have been going to Republicans in other states, not fighting another Republican. It doesn't make any sense unless the idea here is to protect incumbency and not Republicans. This is not the way to go. Hopefully they'll stop that spending and start using it in places where we're using it against the Democrats and not fellow Republicans.
As for the president,
he makes up his own mind, as we all know. The president makes up his own mind. I have a lot of respect for him. I've been a fan of his ever since he became president the first time, actually, even before that.
Me too. A lot of respect. So Talrico in a statement argued that it doesn't matter who wins. We already know who we're running against, the billionaire mega donors and their corrupt political system. Huh. Wow. No, your humor's fine. It's great. What's up, Mama Pillow? Great to see you. So this year's Senate showdown in Texas is one of a handful across the country that could determine if Republicans hold the majority in the chamber in the midterm elections. Yo, I'm just getting set up still. How is everyone? Everyone's good. How you doing? Paxton has faced a slew of scandals and legal problems that have battered him over the past decade, including his messy divorce. Well, here's the thing about the messy divorce. That doesn't really matter. A messy divorce, like all this stuff, like they tried to go after Paxton. They gave it everything they had to go after him in the House, in like an impeachment thing, and it failed. So, hey, all the people that just came over from watchers from Robert Cavea from the raid, thank you for being here. Please stick around for a little while. Check out the show. See if you like it. If you do, throw a like, and maybe, if it's not asking too much, maybe subscribe to the channel and come back. I do these shows almost every night of the week, pretty much. And I just try to cover the news that I think you all should hear. And I try to do it in a fair and responsible way. But then again, who could be fair and responsible when you're dealing with demon rats? The Dems will not win in Texas. I already voted for Paxton and will again for the main event. Well, I hope so. I don't see it. Talrico is insane. Yes, he is, man. He's one of these faux Christians, who likes to say, like, I'm a Christian. Look at me. But everything he says is like, wait, that's not very Christian. So, hey, what's up? Just came over from the raid or something. Ginger, great to see you. That's awesome. Thank you so much. G Sharkman, you too. What's up, buddy? So, but Trump in his endorsement said Paxton's gone through a lot, in many cases very unfairly, but he's a fighter. He knows how to win. He's a warrior, a fighter, a Navy SEAL. No, he's not a Navy SEAL. That's the guy running in Kentucky. I was just doing my worst Jesse Ventura impression. So Paxton, in a statement on X, said he is incredibly honored to have Trump's complete and total endorsement. No one's ever fought harder for the American people than President Trump. And I look forward to championing the American First agenda in the United States Senate. I hope he gets the chance. I really do. Trump, in backing Paxton, said that John Cornyn's a good man and I worked well with him, but he was not supportive of me when times were tough. Yes. John Cornyn backstabbed every American's Second Amendment rights during the Biden administration. And for that, he's got to go. I'm sorry. That's disqualifying. Pointing to the senator's past criticisms, Trump said, John was very late in backing me when I turned out to be a historic run for the Republican nomination and then the presidency. And Cornyn in a statement says, I've worked closely with President Trump, both his presidential terms, and voted with him more than 99% of the time. I find that hard to believe. He's consistently called me a friend. It's now time for the Republican voters to decide if they want a strong nominee to defeat Talrico or a weak nominee who jeopardizes everything we care about. Well, if the guy beats you in the primary, he doesn't seem very weak to me. Just saying. The president took to social media the day after the March primary to say an endorsement will be coming soon. And said, but be asking that the candidate I don't endorse to immediately drop out of the race. And then he got some pushback from the rhinos. Hours later, Paxton said that he would stay in the race at the Republican Senate nominee, even if he endorsed Cornyn. But I believe Paxton did say, hey, if you guys actually get the Save America Act passed, he said he would drop out.
At Florida Virtual School, there is no classroom required.
Are you serious with this?
And now, as we head into this runoff, we're going to make the choice even clearer.
Hey, what's
While
up,
John
girl?
Cornyn was cutting deals on gun control and amnesty, I was suing corrupt Joe Biden over 107 times. 107 times. And we
Eric
didn't just
Hunley.
file
Whoa,
lawsuits. We won massive
that's
victories
awesome.
for our
Thank you so
freedom,
much
for
to
our
America's
border
Untold
security,
Stories for
and for our
rating.
Constitution.
Thank you so much for the rating,
That's the
America's Untold
contrast.
Stories over there on the
When he
on the
compromised,
Rumbles.
we fought. It's not about personal attacks. It's about what your record of delivering for the people of Texas is. And on that front, John Cornyn has failed us time and time again.
Time and time again, failed us. Time and time again, failed us. Yes, he did. Asked if he would end his bid if Cornyn Paxton magnifier and said, no. I spent a year of my life campaigning against Cornyn because John has not represented the people of Texas. He is not. Paxton, yes. Reality check commercials. Yeah, I hate that stuff. And look at this. We got our first donation of the evening. It's a one Jim Tells You membership by Brian Eisen. Thank you so much. With that means we are now just $94 away from adding a first additional hour to the show and only $44 away from activating Bellavision. Yes. There's Bella. She's just chilling, see? She's waiting to get her call to the main stage. Cassidy joins Dems to vote to advance war powers resolution. Yeah, I said that earlier. He's a real scumbag, that guy. Real scumbag. Hey, what's up? Gee whiz Daliak 5. What the? Gee whiz DeWilk. What's up? I'm catching up with 19% of vote in. Gallery's 56, Massey 43. You love Ken Paxton, so excited this. A raw knuckle fighter. He's a raw knuckle fighter, bare knuckle fighter, raw knuckle fighter. That's all we need. That's what we need. That's what we need. That's what we need. Asked about Paxton's comments. Trump said a day later, well, that's too bad for him to say, but it leads me to go in the other direction. But he didn't. In a twist, Paxton said a few hours later that he would consider dropping out of the race if the Senate agrees to lift the filibuster and pass the Save America Act, which they didn't because they're all rhino scums. The bill titled the Safeguard American Voting Eligibility Act would, if passed into law, require proof of citizenship to register to vote. Script on Bella's persona. Well, Bella's got a great persona. The GOP-backed bill passed the House, but faces roadblocks in the Senate due to obstructionist Democrats. The Save America Act is the most important bill in the United States. Better pass. I'm committed to helping President Trump get it done. That's what Paxton says. Yeah. There was they took a test vote on the SAVE Act in the Senate. And you know that there was one Republican that voted against it. You know who that one Republican was? Lisa Murkowski, the Democrat that pretends to be a Republican from Alaska. Yeah, that's the only one. For the good of the country, the good of President Trump's agenda, I'm determined to help get it done. Paxton said that John Cornyn is a coward who refused to support abolishing the filibuster to pass this bill. Oh, look at this. American Dreamer says, I want Bella. Does it, and she gets it. There we go. American Dreamer, thank you so much for the 25. That means right now we are just $69 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you so much. That is so awesome. Thank you. The Cornyn campaign, aligned with Super PAC, spent nearly $100 million in the primary. Wow. Ads just attacking Paxton and Republican Wesley Hunt, who came in third. Cornyn and his allies, the NRSC, the campaign arm of the GOP, repeatedly took aim at Paxton over his political baggage, which the only political baggage in actuality that Paxton has is all just lies that were thrown at him by the rhinos in Texas. I believe, what's his name? Dale Murphy or something like that, the Speaker of the House in Texas, that the only reason he became Speaker is because all the Democrats in the House voted with some rhinos to make him Speaker. Dale something. Is it Murphy? Dale something or other. I can't remember. I can't remember everybody's name. I'm sorry. Just like the primary, we have a plan to win a runoff. We're in the process of executing. That's what Cornyn said, but you're not going to win. Pax is the only one that's endured the lawfare and constant attacks like Trump, and the reason they went after Ken was eye-opening. Yeah. Democrats will always vote with Democrats. Shouldn't run as Republicans. Yeah. Well, they do. Yes. Thank you for the Bellavision, America Dreamer. Yes. Thank you, American Dreamer. So it says Paxton's grabbed a significant attention over the past few years by filing lawsuits against the Obama and the Biden administration and won many of those lawsuits. As we head in this runoff, we're going to make the choice even clearer. While John Cornyn was cutting deals on gun control and amnesty, I was suing corrupt Joe Biden over 107 times. Suing corrupt Joe Biden over 107 times. You would think maybe that's be who you'd want, the fighter in there. Cornyn spent around $100 million trying to buy the seat. We spent $5 million. Yeah, if only Ken Paxton had both eyes on the ball. Well, that's a joke because he's got that one I don't know if it's a lazy eye, or if that's some kind of a congenital defect with that eye that it's closed like that all the time. We cannot forget what an utter failure of a country Biden left Trump with. So when I get so mad about the prices, I try to remember that. So I give him grace when he's running low on needs out of Iran. Yeah, that's what happens. So Trump, as the Texas race has moved to runoff for the good of the party and country itself, must not be allowed. It must stop now. And pointing to Tellerico, the president argued, we have an easy to beat radical left opponent who totally focused on putting him away quickly and decisively. Yeah, this guy. I mean, it's like, because everybody remembers, don't you remember? You had, what was his name? Beto O'Rourke. James Francis O'Rourke, I believe this was. But he calls himself Beto to try to, Dade Phelan. Okay. Speaker of the House. Okay. I don't know. What did I say it was? Dale Murphy? Dade Phelan? I don't know. I knew it was something like that. So Trump endorsed him. Yeah, Beto O'Rourke. Remember Beto O'Rourke? They gave him all those glowing interviews and stuff, and he got his butt handed to him by Ted Cruz. And then what do we have? Then we had what was it? Colin something or other. Colin Allred. He was going to do it, and then he got spanked. And then it was going to be Jasmine Crockett, Slavey Crockett, but she couldn't get past Tellerico in the primary. So now Tellerico is going to be the one. No, it says now with 21% of the vote in, Massey 43, Galrain 56. Wow. I think it's going to be like a 10-point race, but that's my opinion. Helping Cornyn land the presidential endorsement was an intense lobbying campaign by Senate Republican leaders, but it didn't happen. Mm-hmm. Oh, let's see. Let's listen to Judas talk. Judas Cornyn.
Attention.
I think there's going to be a runoff no matter what happens. And of course, what counts the most is what happens on May 26th. Obviously,
yes, they always
do
cheat.
well. And we've been working hard, reaching out to voters all across the state, encouraging them to vote, including being here at Cornerstone Church today with my friend of longstanding, Pastor Hagee, who's one of the primary evangelical pro-Israel supporters in the country, and proud to stand with him in support of Israel, and encouraging, it's good to hear him encourage his congregation to get out and vote, and I hope everybody does.
You've said before, and you continue to emphasize that if Ken Paxton is the nominee, Democrats have a very good chance of flipping this seat. You stand by that?
Absolutely. Jasmine Crockett actually said, if I'm the nominee, no Democrat can win. Yes,
Jasmine Crockett, Slavey Crockett.
That Ken Paxton would be the Republican nominee.
Yeah. Keep us updated, Joe. Keep us updated. Thank you.
Both of these people, by the way, they should be running for the Senate in California, not in Texas. They're way out of the mainstream in Texas. But that's what Democrats are hoping for, the first crack in the red wall. We haven't elected a Democrat since 1994 at the statewide level. If I'm the nominee, I'll help President Trump by making sure that we carry the 5 new congressional seats as well as maintain this Senate seat, and will help him continue his agenda through the last 2 years of his term of office. If the Democrats win, because we nominate a flawed candidate with incredible baggage like the Attorney General, that last 2 years and his agenda is jeopardized, as well as everybody down ballot that we need to continue to elect as Republicans.
Are you
And now
concerned
he's
that
going to help.
message is not
Now,
maybe getting through to some Republican voters, some MAGA voters? There's been a lot of money spent by you and your allies to portray Paxton as somebody with way too much baggage, but this race remains very tight.
Well, the victory goes to the people who show up, and that's really our message. It's not for the folks who wish you well and stay home. It's the people who actually vote. And so we've been traveling around the state, encouraging Republican primaries to voters to get out and cast their ballot. And early voting, if possible, but if not, then on March.
got 100% right there, Charlie Duck.
Because when you have a very small percentage of the electorate actually turning out to vote, strange things can happen. And I want as big a turnout as we can possibly have of Republicans who want to maintain Texas as a red state and to help President Trump during the remainder 2 years of his office.
Following up on that, is that what you meant when you talked about radical people showing up, I think, in an interview in recent days?
Well, I just mean people who maybe are not representative of the Republican Party. I've spent decades now helping to build the Republican Party in Texas to make it the dominant party that it is and to turn Texas red. I don't want to jeopardize any of that by nominating somebody who's unelectable in November.
Ken Paxton's
So you
argument-
turned
president's
Texas
argument
red. It
is
wasn't George
you
W.
say
Bush.
you're a friend of Donald Trump. You talk
30
about
years
voting
ago.
with him 99% of the time, but they
Okay.
point back to some, previous stances where you distanced yourself from the president.
Well, what counts is your support for the president. I support the president because of things like his courage in taking out a nuclear Iran and for securing the border. Those are policies I agree with and I think are good for Texas and good for the country. They can say whatever they want, and I guess that's to be expected in a campaign. They do say things that are absolutely not true, but I think my record is very clear, and certainly 99.3% is not bad.
President, as we said, was here on Friday.
Right.
You, Paxton, Hunt, were all there. The president said nice things about all of you.
He did.
Stayed neutral. Do you need his support? Do you need his endorsement in the runoff?
I would certainly welcome it, but there's one person on the planet who knows what Donald Trump's going to do, and that's the president himself. But we've been in communication with him. He's following the race very closely, and I've pointed out to him, as have many of my friends and allies, that with me at the top of the ticket, this is what helps him and his last 2 years in office, and what helps us keep Texas red. To me, that's important, and I know the president understands that.
Wow, the president understands it. Yeah, he sure does. So Thune spoke with Cornyn the day after the primary. I believe that Tallarico was more formidable matchup for Republicans. Yeah, the matchup that's good for us, according to Thune, is John Cornyn, because that's who Thune wants. He wants another rhino. Yeah, pass the SAVE Act. Yeah, that's the problem. Your record, it's clear. When it matters, you turn. That's right. I mean, he backstabbed everybody with what he did, teaming up with the Democrats under Biden to pass that fucking gun control. While Trump stayed neutral in the heated primary, his top pollster helped the Cornyn campaign, and veteran strategist Chris LaCivita consulted for a top Cornyn Alliance super PAC. We saw that already. So pointing to a former longtime Senate GOP leader, Mitch McConnell, who has often acted as a Trump foil, the race is about MAGA versus McConnell. It is. It totally is. Cornyn is about pro-Trump as Cassidy was in Louisiana, and we finally got rid of him. Yeah, and Cassidy turned around and just stabbed everybody in the back by voting with the Democrats to advance a bill to stop Trump from being able to keep us safe by getting rid of the Iranian regime. Emerald Eyes says, liar, we want Ken Paxton here in Texas. Meanwhile, Lone Star Liberty, a pro-Paxton PAC, has circulated a memo ahead of the primary that shrugged off the threats that Cornyn would succeed in the runoff by continuing to hammer the Attorney General over his litany of scandals, arguing that there was nothing new to offer. You think Texas realized Crockett was a carpetbagger? Probably. So, very interesting. Let's see what the Federalist has to say. The Federalist just says, America First Patriot, Trump endorses Paxton in a high-stakes Texas primary. Yeah, in a stunning announcement, President Trump endorsed Paxton in the upcoming GOP primary. We've already made America great again, but now we want to make our nation better than before. Therefore, Ken Paxton is my complete and total endorsement. Ken Paxton will never let you down. That's awesome. Driving us a true MAGA warrior. Yeah, Cassidy voted for that omnibus bill too. Yes, he did. Yeah, Cassidy stinks. Cassidy stinks. Stinks. Mm-hmm. All righty. All right. We'll jump into the next story now. This story is very interesting, and I'd like you guys to tell me what you think about it. I'm going to tell you the story. We're going to talk about it. Give me your opinions, what you think, because at first glance, when I see this, I don't think this rises to the level of imminent true threat. If somebody says that if this happens, I'm going to do this, is that a threat? Because that doesn't have, if you're reluctant, if it's on, reliant on something else that's nebulous happening that probably isn't going to happen. So, because it says an Arkansas man, let's say it was a 20-year-old kid on a video game. All right. This kid playing video games on the video chat when they're playing the video game on Xbox or PlayStation or whatever it was, Steam, talking and says, oh man, and this guy said that if they lock down the country, he's going to do something. And so they arrested him. Now, I don't know. I mean, we don't want people making threats, but I think this was probably just somebody who was just talking crazy, on a video game. People say a lot of things when they play video games. Do we really want people getting arrested for saying crap on a video game? Hey, Sweet Daydreams, what's up? Great to see you. Thanks for being here. Kalshi hits 0% for Massey. Uh-oh, that ain't good. That ain't good. Yeah, that's crazy, right? No, that's what I'm saying. The Arkansas man allegedly threatened Walmart mass shooting over hantavirus lockdown fears. That's not exactly what happened. He said, if they lock down over this, I'm going to do this. So, a fellow online gamer reported an in-game recording of the threats to the FBI. So, they were talking, and some other gamer reported them. So let's hear what they say about the hantavirus.
At Florida Virtual School.
What is it with you in the commercials today, Fox?
Says there are no confirmed hantavirus cases in the United States as 41 people across more than 10 states are being monitored for the virus. Last weekend, we witnessed those American passengers get off the ship. Dr. Mark Siegel spoke with a medical hero from the University of Nebraska Medical Center who flew to the Canary Islands to bring those Americans home.
Like a setup.
He details the conditions on the plane.
It is a stripped aircraft. It does not have a lot of insulation. It has a lot of noise. I went on board almost expecting old C-130 bucket seats. And instead what I saw were groups of about 12 seats or 12 to 16 passenger seats like on an airline. And they were sitting on a metal plate. And the metal plate was in sort of industrial tracks.
All right. Well, this is not about the story, so
that it could be rolled and moved around the aircraft. They were.
All right. So let's go. So, an Arkansas man was arrested after allegedly threatening to carry out a mass pew-pewing at his local Walmart if the country went into lockdowns over the hantavirus outbreak. Aaron Bynum, 20, of Oakland, was arrested Friday after allegedly making threats, according to the Marion County Sheriff's Office. One site has already called it for Galrain, checking others. He was charged with first-degree terroristic threatening and harassing communications. Who was he harassing is what I want to know. He was talking to some guy he was playing with. Officials said the arrest would follow an investigation to online threats allegedly made by Bynum on May 9th. For what, Karen? What did I do? The FBI's National Threat Operations Center received an electronic tip from an individual playing an online video game who alleged another player threatened to carry out a mass shooting at a local Walmart if the country were locked down again due to the hantavirus. Yes, they're setting a precedent. No bueno. Waiting on a call for Galrain. I mean, this is the thing. if he said, I'm going to go do this, but it wasn't, I'm going to go do this. It was, I would do this if this happens because of this reason. It's like, that's like, I think that falls outside of Brandenburg. I do. I really would hope that someone else would talk about this, maybe that has a little more, jurisprudence experience with the First Amendment. Maybe they could tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think this would meet the Brandenburg standard for an imminent true threat. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. I think we're starting. Yeah, this is not a serious threat. This is an emotional outburst. That's what I'm saying. Like, did he even have guns? I mean, they're showing their hands that they plan more lockdowns. I'm thinking maybe. Thanks for being here, James O'Jimsey. So authorities said the reporting individual provided the player's gamer username along with an in-game recording of the alleged threats. So how did he have an in-game recording of the threats? This is my question. How did he have an in-game recording of the threats? Was this a conversation that was going on and this guy was baiting him and then started recording? Because you have to start the recording ahead of time. Investigators say they subpoenaed the game's parent company, which identified Bynum as the owner of the account. The FBI's Fayetteville field office, when alerted by the Marion County Sheriff's Office, and authorities executed a search warrant at Bynum's residence on Friday. This is a joke. With so many more pupils running around in lockdowns, consider how many gaming communities I've heard worse. That's what I'm saying. I don't think this is a true threat. I don't think this. Your state was listed. I'm not locking down. I ain't locking down. Nope. I didn't comply the first time. It's not going to go well a second time. No, it's not. Yep, exercise your rights. I think I'm already locked down. Maybe. Might be total BS too, just to get information on how we react. Can't trust them. Could be. Investigators say they seized Bynum's computer and related accessories. Authorities say Bynum was taken into custody without incident and booked into the Marion County Detention Center on a $2,500 bond. Well, at least it's a bond that hopefully someone could pay and he can get out. He's not going to be stuck in jail. The Hantavirus outbreak tied to the MV Honda's cruise ship. Isn't that weird? It's a Hondias cruise ship with the Hantavirus. Sickened multiple people. On May 13th, the WHO said 11 cases have been identified in connection, including 8 confirmed cases, 2 probable cases. 3 deaths have been linked to the outbreak. Canadian health officials said, "Oh, what's this all about, eh?" AP is not called for Galrain. What the hell are they waiting for? So the outbreak sparked comparisons to coronavirus. Fox News senior medical analyst Mark Siegel previously told Fox there's no comparison. Hantavirus is difficult to spread. You're on a teeter? I need one of those big foam hands for football games, but with the middle finger. Yes. Oh, man. What is this? More people are shot and killed in a weekend in Chicago than die from the new deadly virus. Just proves they're always listening. Do not comply. Thank you so much. Wow, Christine. That's a big fitty. Thank you so much. That means, folks, we're only $19 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you so much. Bringing the heat. That is the psychological mind screwing, saying they back free speech yet prosecute people for exercising it. Feels like you're on a tether. You have one, maybe. Some gamers record their gameplay, probably just randomly caught it. They went too far arresting this guy, but people need to know they can't go around talking about carrying out mass pupiling. Oh, I agree. You can't say you're doing that, but I think there was like qualifiers in his statement. Even in their reporting it, there was qualifiers, which didn't mean like he's going to go do this. It's like, well, if this happens, then I'm going to go. If this happens and then this happens, then I'm going to go do this. It seems like not like an imminent threat, which is what Brandenburg sets up, that it has to be an imminent threat. Like, I'm going to go do this right now. That's an imminent threat. The whole Hantavirus stuff is sounding like COVID 2.0 to me. People are getting sick of it. Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much. Jim knows about all the Chicago shootings. Yes, I do. Personally, no. We had Hantavirus, I don't know, 20 years ago, nothing burger. It's been around for a long time. It's very hard to spread, though, from what I understand. It's like, I didn't think it spread from person to person. I thought you had to actually get it from the rat poop. That's what I thought. Crazy how you just only heard about it recently. Yeah, an outbreak isn't 3 deaths. This is not truth. Sheer media bullshit. Yeah, it is, right? So the CDC says the Andes virus, the Andes Candies virus, is a strain confirmed in that outbreak. Is the only documented case to spread from person to person. Poop and urine. That wasn't a mass shooting speech, in my opinion, and let's not be so quick to arrest or be okay with arresting people for the free speech. I'm not okay with it. I don't think they should have arrested this guy. I don't. I honestly don't. I don't think this was a true threat. I don't. But that's me. If I was on the jury or grand jury, I'd say, no, this is not a true threat. What are you, nuts? Okay, person to person, don't touch me then. Well, here's the crazy thing, K-Bean. I read the story the other night. What they're trying to say is that it survives in the sperm, in a man's sperm for 6 years. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make this the new monkeypox. Oh, not you. Okay, good. Yeah. So that's what they're trying to scare people. It's not a true threat. That's what I say. So yeah, they're trying to scare people to say like, oh, it stays in the sperm for 6 years. That's hot. Yeah. Yeah, that's shit. Yeah. Arrests bring money to the system. The Andes strain of the Hantavirus spreads from person to person. I had a briefing on it. I flew a couple of patients CDC last week. Okay. Don't sleep with a man eating rat poop. Definitely not. Yes, get Fauci on the case. We can only be so lucky that Fauci would contract a strain that would cause him to suffer pain like he caused every American in 2020, 2021. Just saying. Be nice. It's not airborne. It's not a respiratory disease. It's very difficult to transmit. Let's see here. It was real quick. We'll go over to New York Post. It says, Arkansas gamer allegedly threatened to carry out mass shooting if hantavirus outbreak caused a lockdown. You know how many times I said I'll go postal if I stop smoking? It's not a threat. It's an exaggeration. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the gain of function that Fauci did. Fauci's dead? Is he? Did he die? I thought he was still alive. Hey, take care, all right? Off label. Have a good evening. I hope you have a great show. If you're still going when I end, I'll send everybody over your way. Hantavirus, yes. They are sure it's not in the semen. No, it's not in the seaman. It's in the semen. So Arkansas man said he would shoot up his local Walmart if there prompted lockdowns. Biden allegedly told other players that he would open fire in his nearest Walmart if the country were locked down again. That's not a true threat. That's like an if. It's like, man, I'll go nuts if they try to lock me down again. I'll do this, this, and this. And it's like the anonymous tipster also provide a username. Parent company in the online game identified Bynum as the owner. He was cuffed without incident and placed in the Marion County Detention Center on $2,500 bond. First-degree terrorist threatening and harassing communications. So that's what I think. So let's see here. It says, rather than investigators say initial tip included both the gaming username and recorded clip on in-game communication, rather than moving immediately toward enforcement action, officials first work to confirm the origin of communication and verify subscriber information. Officials say an investigation remained focused on establishing a clear digital trail. The alleged threat referenced a hypothetical scenario involving a nationwide lockdown. Yeah. No physical incident occurred. No injuries were reported. So, yeah, this is just crazy. Honestly, I don't see this as a threat. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see this as a threat. I don't see it as a threat. I don't. All right, let's go to it's a PSYOP. Arkansas bumped his head. On Monday, the scientist reps officially confirmed that Fauci's not dead. Oh, yeah, everybody, if you haven't already, I recently just got a nice shipment from King of Biltong. If you're hungry, if you feel like you need something, feel a little peckish, maybe you need something to eat, check out King of Biltong at www.biltongusa.com. That's biltongusa.com. Use promo code Jim to save 10% off. If you like things spicy, try the peri peri or the ghost pepper biltong. It's really good, but it's hot. Don't let it fool you. It's hot. And they also have a wide range of other things you can purchase from them. They have treats from all around the world that they send right to your door. They have cookies and candies from England and Europe and Australia to send to you, along with chips with strange flavors like prawn cocktail and malt vinegar potato chips, Walker's potato chips, which aren't bad. You should check them out. They also have other candies and stuff which you don't see in the U.S. that you can get. So check them out. www.biltongusa.com. Use promo code Jim for 10% off for all your snacking needs. It's the Zika virus, the monkeypox bird flu of the day. It's the Andes strain. It can be human to human occasionally. Yeah. I was trying to die from energy drinks, but I'll take the Hantavirus. You're jealous you want a shipment of Biltong? Well, just order some. You get 10% off. Give them a try. Check them out. They've got some variety packs. You can check them out. So next story. Here we go, folks. We're trying to move fast. And I'm going to try to get as many stories in tonight as possible for you. So President Trump praises liberal billionaire Mark Cuban at the White House at the TrumpRX event. AP called it. Well, that's good. Is your pup alive? A week ago, she was in the same position. Well, no, she moves around. She moves around a lot, man. You got to be very careful. She's so quick sometimes that you got to be careful because she'll just flip on you and you won't even know it. You know, like, oh, she just jumped in a different spot now. Look at that. Man, got to be careful with her. She'll jump. Oh, she'll bounce around on you. 72% of the votes. Ed Galrain, 45,000. Tom Massey, 38,000. So they're calling it, huh? That's awesome. AP called it. So yeah, so they just says Kamala Harris endorsement was a big mistake. So Galrain in, Massey is out. The AP calls it. That's awesome. Bye-bye, Massey. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Maybe he'll, you know what? I wouldn't be shocked if Massey doesn't try to run as an independent or a Democrat. It's a prop pup. It is. I'll pull the strings and she'll move. Mark Cuban, the former Dallas Mavericks owner, he sold it. I didn't even know he sold the Dallas Mavericks. I thought he still owned them. Went to the White House to praise Trump for his, the giggler is out. Yep. Yep, he is. Cuban's online pharmacy, Cost Plus Drugs, along with Amazon Pharmacy, GoodRx, are set up to list over 600 drugs on TrumpRx at lower cost for consumers. Cuban said 559 of the drugs come from his company. I've been the biggest proponent of TrumpRx, Cuban said in a brief remarks. Republicans want cheaper drugs. Independents want cheaper drugs. Democrats want cheaper drugs. Everyone wants cheaper drugs. I mean, shit, man. I remember my favorite song growing up was, I want a new drug. One that won't make you sick. One that won't make you stay up all night. One that make you feel 3 feet thick. I want a new drug. Want to make you stay out late. I can't remember the other words. Now I feel dumb for trying to sing it. Together, I think we're going to do something special. Cuban still has a minority stake in the Mavs. Not the cartel. Yeah, the cartel doesn't want cheaper drugs. When did he sell the team? Recently, I suppose. Yeah. The problem with Massey is he can switch parties for the last 7 months he is in. Doubt he runs as an independent. He wants to be with that young wife. Cuban has a minority share. He sold a big chunk years ago to some woman. Yeah, Huey Lewis. Yep. Want a new drug? Here. Yeah. I don't remember the word. It's been a long time. I don't remember the words. However, Cuban has never supported Trump, frequently attacking him. Hey, what's up, HJ Remy? Thank you. I always try. I try to sing. I know it upsets people, but I do it anyway. One American News Network, Daniel Baldwin asked President Trump about Cuban's history as a never-Trumper. And he's got a good company, and he's going to do a lot of business with this. He's very gracious. I think I have a lot of respect for Mark, frankly, and I always have. Baldwin says, pretty remarkable seeing you and Mark Cuban up here, and the fact that obviously Mark endorsed Kamala. Said, well, he made a mistake. It was a big mistake. What does that say about what you two are building here? Well, it says we love people. We love our country. We want, he wants to, I want to. We all want to make America better. That's great. Amazon, the whole group, they're going to get drugs. Mark wants to be part of it. I think that's something that really works. Oh, here we go.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's pretty remarkable seeing you and Mark Cuban up there, and the fact that obviously Mark endorsed Kamala Harris back in 2020.
Well, he made a mistake. It was a big mistake.
What does this say about what you
Trump's
two are
joking
building
around.
here?
Well, it says we love people. We love our country. He's got a good company, and he's going to do a lot of business with this. And I'm going to get drugs out through Amazon, through the whole group, and we're going to get drugs out. And Mark wanted to be a part of it. And I think Mark was very gracious. He said, this is something that really works. The first time you've seen it. And he had to believe that if he said it about me. You have to understand that. But look, I think I have a lot of respect for Mark, frankly, and I always have.
And then, sir.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. Nice thing to say. Isn't that what we want to see? Don't we want to see people that have differing opinions, that they can work together when they actually agree on something? Don't we want that to happen? I mean, generally what only happens is these people only work together. And I'm talking about the two parties, the uniparty system usually just gets together to screw over the American people. So if it's something good like this, why not? You know, if it gets everybody some cheaper drugs, what's wrong with that? Why is it remarkable? We're not animals. We can talk to people who disagree with us, stupid reporter. Yeah, it's true. Yes. Redemption is good. Not bad. Lower drug prices and double fuel costs to cover it. Neuro says, I don't live in Kentucky and I like Massey, but Massey supporters might have had me considering the other guy. They did not help his cause. That's the thing. Like, you can't, everything Massey did, everything they did was like calling people pedophiles because they're like, dude, I said to the women, you said something happened to you, that people did evil things to you, that you were harmed. Tell us who harmed you and we will get you justice. Give me the names. And the women's response was, it's not up to us to give you the names. You go figure it out on your own. What? Say what? The only names that were given by Massey and Ro Khanna. And guess what? Those 4 people had nothing to do with anything. They were just pictures that got shoved into a lineup. So I don't know. Government is instituted to secure people's rights, not control them. That's right. Yeah. Look at RFK and Tulsi. Yeah. I think I can agree with people and I can disagree with people. I can agree they do things I like. They don't things I don't like. Yeah, but drugs don't fix the underlying problems. No, they don't. But some people need them to survive, to live with their problems. Gotta love working for the farmer and buying everything from him and paying rent to him also. Yeah, well, that's not good. Thank you, being that's so sweet on that report from high school. On the other hand, complete wreck. I don't serve a God of fear. I trust him, whatever the outcome. Well, that's awesome. Our politicians are supposed to be more moderate. This is the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, but as long as that moderate isn't just a leftist who's like, well, I'm going to go with the communists because I have to agree with stuff. It's like, whoa. Let's not go there. Yeah, cheaper prices in the market is better in the long term. You're the good news. First weeks of July, and thanks again. Massey didn't care about the Epstein files until Trump came back. He can miss me with that BS. Okay. I need something, though I have none. Yeah, he's such a fake. He's been bought. Yeah. Well, that's what happens. Later, Cuban spoke to reporters who asked him about his plans for a presidential run. Is there? Okay. Oh, so here we go. Cuban's going to speak.
If you can follow simple steps, you can follow this.
You've been long rumored and mentioned as someone who might run for president one day. We're here at the White House. Is this making you consider those ambitions again?
Hell no. Too hot, huh? That's too hot in here. No, I'm all about reducing the cost of healthcare. To me, that's my ultimate legacy.
Mark, you've been very critical of Donald Trump in the past, one of the most unethical, non-character dishonest person you've ever done business with. Obviously, you're not partnering with him. Has your opinion of him changed? Can you just talk a little bit about
that was last season, right? What you say during an election cycle is obviously going to be completely different. But now the goal is the goal. The goal is to reduce the cost of healthcare, and we're 100% aligned. I mean, in talking to him, there was, Mark, are you going to help us reduce the cost of healthcare for everybody? Yes. Okay, we're going to do this together. You know, and I'm like, let's go. Like, the goal is the goal.
Do you disagree? Do you agree the president said today that you regret endorsing Kamala Harris?
He was playing. Yeah, he was playing. Yeah, I'm not going to go there. It doesn't matter.
Do you regret supporting former Vice President?
I'm not going into my politics at all.
Yeah, well, there you go. He's not going into those politics at all. That's the way people should be.
Most side hustles.
No.
All
stop. Get out of here with your baloney. So that's a good thing. You know, Trump announces 600 generic drugs added to TrumpRX, which that's good news. The president informed reporters of a move on Monday in the South Court auditorium of the Eisenhower Executive Building. So here we go.
Today, I'm thrilled to announce that we're increasing the number of drugs available on TrumpRX by nearly 7 times, adding over 600 affordable generics to the website, working with industry partners. Cost-effective generic drugs are often available at just a tiny fraction of the price of their brand name equivalents. And in theory, they're the same thing. Sometimes they're better with the same dosage, the same effectiveness, and the same active ingredients, yet many consumers do not think to ask for them. They don't know about them. By incorporating this massive catalog of low-cost generics at TrumpRx.gov, consumers will now have one source to ensure that they're getting the lowest possible cost on their prescription. So they have a real option now. Today, they have something that they've never had before. They've never had anything like this or even close. With these additions, TrumpRx will feature the best and lowest prices on prescriptions used by tens of millions of Americans already. And in some cases, the discounted generics available through TrumpRx may be offered at an even lower cash price than the out-of-pocket insurance cost, which has always been the lowest, but we're going to be lower. This means that the TrumpRx.gov should always be your first stop before you go to the pharmacy to pick up your prescription.
Hold on. Sorry. So yeah, so that's what's going on there. Cost-effective generic drugs are often available at just a fraction of the price. So that's good news. I think everyone can be happy. What is this?
Today's great announcements of more drugs, more pharmacies, and home delivery are making
Oh, it's for
healthcare
everyone.
simpler and
It's for
smarter
everyone.
for Americans.
Anyone could
Let's
use
go live
TrumpRx.
to the new TrumpRx experience. So that $400 million saved for Americans, that means better living and less stress for millions of families. So let's browse some of those medications. Immediately, you'll see a new section called
No, it's for anybody. Anybody can go to TrumpRx. Anyone. It's just a coupon. It's basically like it's like GoodRx or like those other discount programs. But what they basically did is they took all the discount programs and they combined them into one thing. So instead of having to look at different discount programs to get the best price, you're going to get the best price through TrumpRx. I don't see any of them trying to lower the overall cost of living. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how that's possible. The only way to lower the cost of living would be for us to go into a massive recession. And for, that's the only way. And for us to get like what's known as deflation. I mean, we're kind of stuck. I don't know. Spite insurance. I paid $0 for screwing my head back on. Seems to me not worth it. After your insurance, I don't think this is with insurance. I think this is without insurance. But I'll tell you right now, there's a bunch of medications that I take that I use GoodRx for because it's cheaper than going through my insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's cheaper to go to GoodRx to get it than going through the insurance. Yeah, America first. That's great. Yes. For one, quit selling our stuff to the world. Yeah, I mean, I think we would be in a lot better place if we, I think we'd be in a much better place if we would start manufacturing more here in the U.S. because we'd be a lot less prone to these massive spikes when other countries decide to raise the cost of stuff. No, they sell our stuff to the world first. Yeah, they do. I think you can use insurance with them. You might be able to use your insurance with TrumpRX. I'm not 100%. You have Blue Cross Blue Shield. What did you say, Jim? Yeah, I have Blue Cross Blue Shield. And a lot, like for several drugs, I use the GoodRx discount code because it's cheaper than going through the insurance for me. Yeah, GoodRx is cheaper than going through the insurance as well. It's amazing. Yeah.
Presidential deals. These are some of the most affordable brand name drugs in America, made possible thanks to our president's legendary deal making. So let's take a look at a few of these. This is Foundayo, the new GLP-1 pill, 77% off. This is the insulin medication, 72% off. This is Trulicity, 61% off. These are life-changing savings for millions of Americans. Now, search also got smarter too. You can now look up brand name drugs and see the generic version. Let's try a brand drug named Glucophage. It's for diabetes.
Are you talking about anyone do a Barnes wellness check? Somebody's going to have to check on them. Part of the shooter narrative. Are you talking about the reporting that they might have been trans? Is that what you're talking about? And how it kind of just went away? Like, whoa, let's not talk about this anymore. Your aunt has a new pill, kind of expensive. I'll check it out for her. Yeah. There's also some of these really expensive drugs that are super expensive. You can actually get discounts from the manufacturer. Sorry, discounts from the manufacturer. Yeah. So who's trans? There's reporting that one of the kids or both of the kids that were involved in the shooting at the mosque or whatever in San Diego was trans. So tell us off of what? Total BS. They're telling you off of the sticker manufacturer suggested retail price, I would imagine. Ozempic, yeah. Yeah, have the Dems said anything about how lower prescription prices are bad? Who knows?
And it costs around $20. So search now shows the lower cost option, metformin. Metformin has the same active ingredients, but now watch this. The price, $8.42. So you found an affordable price. Now where do you get it? You can find your trusted pharmacy in one search. Watch how easy this is. I'll use mine. Capsule Pharmacy. Boom, there it is. Now, we also created another way to find the best price. Introducing Map Search. For the first time, you can see chain and local independent pharmacies on the same map. So here's my location. I see an option here at a pharmacy for $18 and a block away, $8.42. Now you can compare for the best medicine prices, as easy as it is to compare hotels or Airbnbs or baseball tickets. This is simple, transparent healthcare pricing. So when I find what I'm looking for, I take this coupon, show it to the pharmacist, and I get the TrumpRX price. That simplicity is why TrumpRX has taken off nationwide. Okay, there's one more thing. Today, we added new partners for fast home prescription delivery. I can actually get this medicine to my door in a day or so. So from search to savings to satisfaction, this is healthcare built for modern life. You compare prices on flights. Why not medicine? Don't just fill your prescription, TrumpRX it. Because the strongest nation on earth, America, starts with the healthiest people on earth.
Wow. It says lower prices are bad because of the lower tax amount. 10% times A equals B. That's dumb logic. America's going to actually have to buckle down and literally get what they need. We still have way too many people paying the price of unnecessary items and complaining about it, not talking about drugs. Oh, I know what you're saying. Yeah. But a lot of people say like, I can't do this. It's like, well, why do you have this, $1,500 phone? Why did you need to get the brand new phone? Metformin. Take metformin, give yourself a vitamin B deficiency. They don't care. It's a business. You didn't try Trodrugo? What is Trodrugo? I don't know what that is. So President Trump asked us to make this our country's most affordable medication in the world. He succeeded in doing that. I want to say one last thing. President Bush promised to do this. President Clinton promised to do this. President Biden promised. President Obama promised. Trump actually got it done. It's an extraordinary accomplishment and a legacy for him. Cost Plus Drugs, a direct-to-consumer online pharmacy, is one of the companies partnering with Trump administration. That's Mark Cuban's company. Mr. President, I think, other than you, I've been the biggest proponent of TrumpRX, and the reason for that is Republicans want cheaper drugs, independents want cheaper drugs, and Democrats want cheaper drugs. Breitbart News caught up with Cuban, who backed former Vice President Kamala Harris. What should happen is, if you're concerned about the cost of health care, if you're concerned about buying medication, you should go to Cost Plus Drugs and see if we have it. Go to TrumpRX and see if we have it, because, you know, the way I always look at politics, if any politician, and the only thing they care about is to reduce the stress of the American people, all the politics increases stress. TrumpRX, Cost Plus Drugs working together is one step towards reducing the stress. That's not a bad thing. Trodrugo fought Rocky Balboa. We're in Florida. How different in other states? Federal equals not different. Oh, joke about Travago. Oh, okay. A hotel commercial. Okay. A vitamin D deficiency will cause other problems they can try to fix with other drugs. It's a business. I cannot get to a doctor to prescribe me ivermectin to save my life. Literally, it mixed with another drug. I believe it will reduce the tumors in my breast. Other doctors won't do it. It's my body. I'm an adult. Hey, King of Biltong, what's up? You missed my commercial for you earlier. So the savings on drugs will now go to the grocery stores, I guess. Hey, no problem. What's up, buddy? Great to see you here. I don't want to give you advice, Miss Vicky May, because I don't want to give you medical advice, but I will say that there is other places you can get ivermectin. Just saying. And also, if you really want a doctor prescribed ivermectin, there is a place. I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's like Viva and all these other people were supporting it. That guy, Dr. Drew, did it, and Dr. Malone, where they'll ship it right to your house. It's called like emergency supply. It's like some kind of emergency thing. They'll send you they'll send you the stuff, different things to your house. You do like a virtual appointment with them, and you can get it sent to you. I can't think of the name of it right now, but Dr. Malone is part of it. So is Dr. Drew. The Wellness Company, the link in the Gateway Pony. Yeah, the Wellness Company. You can check them out, and they'll send it right to your house. All right, so let's do this. Let's jump to this story. Look at this. Ed Gelrain defeats U.S. Rep. Tom Massey in Kentucky House primary. Robert Barnes is most affected. Yeah, the Wellness Company. Yes.
He's been a terrible congressman from day one. Thomas Massey's a terrible congressman. He's been a terrible congressman from day one. Dealing with him is just horrible. I don't think he's a Republican. I think he's actually a Democrat. He's not a libertarian. You know, sometimes they say he's really a Democrat. He votes against us all the time. I think.
Yes, they are crazy expensive. I wasn't doing an ad for them. They are super crazy expensive, but that's probably because I don't know who's all getting paid, but they are crazy expensive. Can you check a troll on People's Pundit, please? I wonder if they're very upset over there. I hope they're all okay. I like Robert. I like Richard Barris a lot. I'm a paid member of his locals. I think he does excellent work with his polling and everything. But people got too involved, too invested in Massey. They thought, oh, Massey could never lose.
MAGA's never been more together, actually. I'm going to be making an endorsement today in Texas. I'm going to be putting out an endorsement in a little while in Texas, the great state. You know, I won Texas all 6 times, meaning primaries and the race, and I got the highest vote in the history of Texas.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Gil Rain. All right, Gil Rain. I don't know anything about him except for that he was a Navy SEAL. That's all I know about him. Yeah, Gal Rain won. Yeah, thank Horst Wormer. Yeah. Oh. Thanks for your order, Jim. We added a few extras in your box. I thought it looked like there was some extra stuff in there. Thank you very much. Yes, man, I tell you, them cookies are awesome. Them chocolate coconut cookies, amazing.
So I love Texas, but I'm going to be making a endorsement at about 12:30, 1 o'clock today for the big race, the Senate race in Texas. MAGA is most of the Republican Party. The rhinos are gone to a large extent. A few of them are still left, so hopefully we get rid of one tonight in the form of Tom Massey, who's horrible. But no, it's been amazing. But I'll be making a statement in a little while as to who I'm endorsing in Texas for the Senate. And there are those that say whoever I endorse is going to win. I don't know if that's true, but historically that's absolutely true. I just don't like to say it because I don't like to brag.
What helped you? Have you found anyone you're running as Lauren Boebert?
Well, I've had my mind made up for a long time, but I just think it's going to be, you know, I just think it's appropriate.
Very interesting. Kentucky Rep. Tom Massey lost his Republican primary Tuesday after a concerted effort by President Trump to oust him from Congress. Cornyn has to really be sweating bullets now that Massey lost. Oh, yeah. I mean, Trump's record for endorsements in the primaries, he's like 95, 98% who he endorses. Some states have legalized over-the-counter ivermectin. That would be awesome. Yeah. Late, but glad to be here. Going to go back to the beginning and catch up. Everyone, make sure you hit the like button. Please, pretty please. Thank you. It helps to grow a channel. It does. It helps a lot. It really does. It really does. The results show President Trump's persisting influence over GOP voters, adding to a growing number of Trump-backed primary challengers to defeat Republican lawmakers who angered him. It's not who angered him. It's people who betrayed the voters. People who betrayed the voters. All those people, all those state senators in Indiana that betrayed the voters, they got voted out. Oh, Barnes will comfort himself and the compatriots that the juice bought the district. You know, what did they expect? When the way Massey was attacking the Jews, what did he think was going to happen? That they're not going to come back after him? You know, you can't attack people. Massey, who served in Congress since 2012, angered Trump by pushing for the release. That's not why. This is not it. It's the other crap. Criticizing the war in Iran and voting against the signature tax legislation. Yeah, if it was up to Massey, the Trump tax cuts would have been temporary, not permanent. Late raid straggler. Well, better late than never. It's always great to have you here. The congressman tried to convince voters they could be for both him and Trump. Gal Rain, a former Navy SEAL, ran on his military service and loyalty to the president. He accused Massey of forsaking Trump and the party. Gal Rain's expected to win the general in the deeply red district. This is a breaking news update. AP follows earlier stories below. Republican voters were choosing between two representative candidates, Massey and Gal Rain. Another test for Trump and his power over the party. He handpicked Gal Rain to oust the incumbent. That's what happens. That's where we're at. Mm-hmm. So sorry, Massey, but it's time for you to go now. Now you can spend all the time you want with your younger wife and do things and go on tours and talk about all your stuff, and it'll be great. All right, now let's jump to some disturbing developments out of Georgia. There was an investigation down in Georgia. All right, and they were looking into some allegations of misconduct for a couple of candidates that are running for the Georgia Supreme Court on the ballot. And it turns out there was some irregularities, and they discovered that there was wrongdoing by a couple of these candidates. And considering since they're demon rats, they ran to a federal judge to get the investigation halted. Like, oh, you can't do this investigation. You can't announce this because there's an election, so you can't say what you found. The Judiciary Qualifications Committee notified Democrat-backed candidates for Supreme Court, Jen Jordan and Miracle Rankin, that they were investigating them for violations of the Georgia Code of Judicial Conduct. The Democrats immediately filed a secret lawsuit against the JQC to stop the investigation. The lawsuit was assigned to Stacey Abrams' sister. Stacey Abrams' sister. A federal judge appointed by Barack Hussein Obama. Judge Abrams, again in secret, blocked the JQC from investigating. Like, how is this not a violation of separation of powers? Ordering an entity that you can't investigate criminal wrongdoing. The Demon Rats continued their violations with impunity. Over the weekend, the Court of Appeals overruled Abrams. Today, one day before the election, after nearly 1 million Georgians have already voted, the Judicial Qualifications Commission issued a statement that Jordan and Rankin have engaged in multiple serial violations of the Code of Conduct. This is a stunning abuse of the legal process by lawyers who are seeking to become judges. What is a secret lawsuit? A lawsuit filed under seal so that no one can see it. Yes. Georgia is rife with election crimes and vote fraud. Georgia ethics panel finds that 2 Democrat-backed judicial candidates likely violated campaign rules. Bum, bum, bum. Womp, womp, womp. A special committee within the Georgia Judicial Qualifications Commission tasked with investigating complaints of judicial misconduct concluded that it reasonably believes 2 Democrat-backed candidates challenging Republican-appointed state Supreme Court justices violated judicial ethics rules. The committee said in a statement that the candidates, former state Democrat Rep. Jen Jordan and personal injury attorney Miracle Rankin, likely violated Georgia's Code of Judicial Conduct by supporting each other's campaigns. Jordan and Rankin also violated a rule prohibiting judicial candidates from making statements related to issues that could become before the courts. They both appeared at an anti-abortion rally and said they'd support pro-abortion positions. Massey's concession, they used a lot of dirty tricks and kneecapping while he was an angel and blaming Fox. Oh, okay. I got to see that. I'm going to have to go get that. All of them coming up, it's like a... I want to see the speech. I'm sorry.
Americans are voting in 6 states as part of the lead up to the midterms, and we have a very big projection
today
that shows
YouTube.
President Trump's continued persuasive
Live now.
power with
got a
Republican
link?
voters. Let's
Give me
go
a link.
straight to the 4th District of Kentucky, where Ed Galrine is the projected, according to CBS News, winner over incumbent Thomas Massey in the most expensive primary election for a seat in the House ever. Some $33 million spent. We're going to run through all the rest of our boards here very quickly. Also, Kentucky Senate Republican primary Andy Barr, the CBS News projected victor over Republican Daniel Cameron.
I would have preferred Daniel Cameron over Andy Barr, my personal opinion. Daniel Cameron was a great candidate. He was an awesome lieutenant governor for many years, and he was defeated by the current governor. What's his name? What the hell's his name? I don't even know. You're cheating and watching Tim Pool sniping on Rumble? Oh, well. All right, let me look for it then, I guess.
Georgia Senate Republican primary. Mike Collins, currently the leader over Derek Dooley and Earl Buddy Carter. What's crucial there is, does any of these candidates get over 50.1? If not, there'll be a runoff. Same thing applies in the Georgia Republican gubernatorial primary, where currently Burt Jones, endorsed by President Trump, has a lead over Rick Jackson, though it's narrow, Brad Raffensperger, and the rest of the field. Moving on to the Georgia governor primary on the Democratic side. Former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, big lead, 60% currently over the field. Interesting thing there, does she get over 50% plus one? And if she does, she can avoid a June 16th runoff. Moving on. That's it. We have Ed O'Keefe, who's at Thomas Massey headquarters in Kentucky with the results and maybe some reaction. Ed?
Well, Major, we were told a few minutes ago that the congressman would be out here to speak shortly, and for any other year where the president wasn't involved, he'd probably win this primary with 80% of the vote. But once the spending began, the margins started to close.
I want to show you is a larger context about this, because Ed was talking, you were talking about the president's influence. Some of that comes from the county, and we can just rattle.
Oh, man, this ain't a speech. Come on. What are you doing? And I went to the other one, and it says right here, Massey contestant speech, but it's not Massey. They're waiting for Ed Galrain to talk. So I don't know. I mean, this is crazy. You can't find a concession speech? I don't know. I guess I'll have to wait till later to get it. All right. Sorry, everybody. I have no idea the pain of linking a Spew2 stream for me. Oh, okay. All right. I got it. All right. Thank you. All right. Let's get this. I want to hear him suffer. I'm sorry. I'm one of them people who, Loser!
All right. Listen, I would have come out sooner, but I had to call my opponent and concede, and it took a while to find Ed Galrain in Tel Aviv.
Oh, funny. Funny.
I did get the call through, though. I have called and conceded the race. We've been honorable the whole time, and we're going to stay that way.
He just said he had to call Tel Aviv to find a guy, and he thinks that's being honorable. Come on, people. That's not honorable. That is not honorable at all. You're going to piss some people off, Jim. Well, you know what? I liked Massey 10 years ago. All right. 8 years ago. I thought he was great. I thought he was very needed, him going around saying the debt clock, we got it. Because I think the debt is a problem. He used to wear the debt clock pin that was always top, and he used to give people little debt clocks, tracking the debt, tell them this is a problem. But he's not that guy anymore. He's not honorable anymore. He's not at all. I'm sorry. Lose with some grace, douche. Exactly. It's, what they say, there's things about, there's sore losers, there's sore winners. Don't be either. Win with grace, lose with grace.
Welcome to the most expensive congressional primary ever in the 250-year history of this country. It's not just the most expensive. This thing went on longer than Vietnam. It started 9 months ago, and they didn't even have a candidate, and they decided they want to take me out. I want to start by thanking the volunteers who have put so much effort into this. Some of you came from all across the country. Some of you are homegrown. I love all of you.
Here's a fact for anybody who doesn't know. Only 4% of Massey's money came from Kentucky. 4%. That's it. He's not this grassroots guy getting support in his district. He's not. 96% of the money he's raised came from out of the state. His largest donor, his largest individual donor is the Marouk family out of Texas. Now, if that name doesn't sound familiar to you, that's probably because you're not big up on Palestinian politics. Just saying.
I see how this is going to work. I'm going to have to not quit talking or you'll start doing it. I want to thank my staff too. Some of my staff have been with me from the very first race in 2012, and they have done so much. We've never had, contrary to all the BS you've heard, we've never had a single ethics complaint filed against me or my staff in 14 years. I want to thank the donors. Now listen, I name them all, but there's 50,000 donors, okay? We didn't lose this race because we didn't have enough money. It is the most expensive race ever. I think when they add it up, right now they can count 35 million. I think when they add it up, it's going to be a lot more than that, because on our side, we know we spent more than 15 million. And we were able to go toe to toe. There was never a week that we got outspent more than 2-1 in this entire race. Once it got underway. And that's also, it wasn't just the grassroots donors. We had a long time, one of my longest friends, he went through a rough spell, and I never left him. I always supported him. And he actually started the super PAC, the one that nobody knows who runs it, Cliff Maloney. If you're around, would you come up here? Maybe I can get him out here to take some credit. Or if he's in the crowd, just pick him up and surf him over here. Clip. I see, by the way, I see one of my online influencer heroes, Bobby Sauce, over here. There were a lot of surreal moments in this race, and frankly, in being in Congress. But being in a side-by-side racing through the woods with Bobby Sauce was definitely it wasn't even on my bucket list. It was amazing. So, and getting to that point, I want to thank the influencers who came all this way and produced all the videos and got out the young vote.
Thank the influencers. I want to thank the influencers,
I
like
want to thank
Robert
my
Barnes.
family. That's who we have arrayed back here. My grandbabies, all 3 of them. She's clapping too. It's a little bit overwhelming for them, but they are what recharges my batteries when I come back from Washington, D.C., these grandbabies. And that's what we're fighting for, really, is the next generation and the next generation after that.
Shady, right? Pretty shady. Super shady.
But I have to especially thank my wife, Carolyn. Her parents knew what they were doing when they named her. Her middle name is Grace. And but she's a fighter. I mean, she's been tweeted at twice by the chief executive of the most powerful country in the world. She blames me for that because I didn't invite him to the wedding. But also, she voted this morning, and she came out and she said, well, that was a wild experience. That was great. I never imagined that would happen. And I said, what happened? She said, I got to vote for my husband and my favorite congressman. I said, that's practically a throuple. Oh, in all seriousness, walking out here and seeing all of you has really energized me. And it has all along. But why am I hopeful right now? Because if you looked at the crosstab in the polling, and I'm sure if we had exit polling, it would show the same thing. We have the younger demographic. You are patriots, and you will inherit this country, and you will make it better. And I am hopeful because of that. Thank you. We accidentally, I think, I accidentally, didn't mean to do this. It started out as an election, and it turned into a movement. I think people, if you're not tired of politics, if you're not jaded, if you're not cynical, and so many people are, the people that want somebody that'll go along to get along. I've never heard of that strategy, but that seems to be what the voters want. That's what's been promised to them, but not the young voters. We stirred up something. There is a yearning in this country for somebody who will vote for principles over party. You all don't like bullies, and you don't tolerate them, and I love you for it. You also, yeah, they couldn't listen. Hey, if I'd known this speech was going to be this fun to give, I would have come out 15 minutes sooner. Look, for 14 years, those SOBs in Washington tried to buy my vote. They couldn't buy it. When they saw the influencers here, they panicked. They sent the Secretary of War here, and you stopped the war for a day.
Oh, what a bunch of bullshit. All right, he's just up here lying more with these idiots.
Backwards. It was easier to get a car to drive itself. It was easier to put internet on Antarctica than it was.
Whatever. All right, well, he's a loser. Bye-bye, loser. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, loser. Bye-bye. Yeah, start your cult and go away. Yeah, barf. Save the speech for the next run. I've had enough. Yeah. Vote the rhinos out. Bye-bye. So the Georgia Watchdog says the Democrat-backed Supreme Court candidates broke judicial rules. Yes, he lost. He gone. He gone. He out of there. No grace going out at all. Nope, not at all. Yes. And another one bites the dust. And another one's gone. Another one's gone. Another rhino bites the dust. Hey, we're going to get you too. Another rhino bites the dust. Oh, bump, bump, bump. 2 Dem-backed candidates running for the Georgia Supreme Court violated existing judicial conduct rules and states which Judicial Watchdog agency found. According to a Monday report, they determined that left-wing attorney Jen Jordan and Miracle Rankin broke the Judicial Code of Conduct by pledging to restore abortion rights. Didn't vote yes for the kill switch. Yeah. Another fake Republican bites the dust. So statements that became publicly available, it's reasonably believed that they violated Judicial Code of Conduct by promising to restore abortion rights. The code applies to judges as well as those vying for the seats, the committee said. And this report would have came out 2 weeks ago, except for they were barred from saying anything by Stacey Abrams' sister. A federal district judge and a federal appellate judge wanted to keep hidden from the public. It's a one-page preliminary finding. The candidate broke the rules. It happens. Very weird to hide it. Monday's report came to light following a favorable ruling by the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. The case was filed under seal at the start of May by Jordan and Rankin, who sought temporarily block the members from taking certain action. 11th Circuit temporarily paused the Friday District Court order to prevent the findings from being made public. The judge who issued that order was Chief U.S. District Judge Leslie Abrams Gardner, the sister of former Democrat gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams. So how did she become the district chief judge? Nepotism. That's right. And then, so the 2-to-1 panel said that if it didn't stay Gardner's order and allow the statements to be published, the public would be harmed by not knowing about and getting to evaluate themselves the credible allegations of misconduct. And of course, a Biden judge dissented. So you can't do this stuff. You can't go out there and say you're going to do this, that, and the other thing. You can't make promises. Promises. Okay. Next story we're going to get into tonight is wrong. Trump slams the UN after it admits the extreme climate change predictions are implausible. You're very confused about Massey? He ran for president in 2020. Joe Biden told us that climate change was a crisis. In 2019, in New York, Representative Ocasio-Cortez said the world's going to end in 12 years. Once Massey went on Fox News and started blaming Israel and AIPAC, that told me he was done. Yeah. Greta Thunberg said that you have to stop oil now. How dare you? Climate change has been touted as an existential threat by politicians, pundits, media activists, and Hollywood elites who speak for their missives down to us from their private planes. But now it turns out it's basically a non-issue. The UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has found that the dire projection known as RCP 8.5 of global climate apocalypse has become implausible. RCP 8.5 has been the worst-case scenario used by climate activists to show the public how bad things would get should human beings, namely Western nations, not reverse course. Good riddance. After 15 years of Democrats promising that climate change is going to destroy the planet, United Nations Climate Committee had to admit its own projections were wrong. Trump also has pulled the U.S. out of the Paris Climate Accords, has backed the idea that the threats posed by alleged man-made climate change have been overblown. How many times have they predicted the end of the world now? I've lost track. Yesterday ago. Yeah, well, I'm old enough. I'm old enough to remember when they were telling us they're going to have another ice age. That was just in the late 70s. There's a whole thing with Mr. Spock. Leonard Nimoy out there talking about the coming climate change that's going to be an ice age. Good riddance, Trump says. Good riddance. Climate scientists Zeke Hafferhauser and Glenn Peters and Piers Forrester said in a post, the climate brink that 8.5 and successor were designated to be a worst-case scenario and not the most likely outcome. We're probably never heading to a tripling of global emissions by 2100, not to say a 5-fold increase in coal use. You couldn't live without frozen foods? Well, nobody. I mean, if we didn't have frozen foods, there would be a lot of dead people. Let's be clear. If we have like a massive electricity problem in the U.S. in the world, let's say, say a massive solar flare hits and takes out the entire global grid for 3 years, billions of people will die. Billions. Yeah, the 1978 Time magazine cover. Yeah, you remember that too. The 21st century is now unlikely to see expansion of fossil fuel use. The dire predictions the model said was high emissions would destroy the world are now not new. Fully integrated scenarios about emissions and everything are saying that it's not as bad as they said. They're consistent sets of projections that only components of radiative forcing that are meant to serve as input. So they don't take into account the sun. The one thing that actually makes the biggest difference in everything is the sun. The sun is what changes what happens on the planet. For nearly a decade, scientists have been walking back the worst-case scenario models. These worst-case scenario models are what have been publicized by the activists. These dire predictions about climate change have been a serious source of anxiety and led to like all types of problems. Hollywood celebrities continue to harp on climate change, including Star Wars actor Harrison Ford, who told graduates at ASU during a commencement address that he's considering environmental concerns based on climate change a primary focus of their lives. Yes, you should do that. You should do that, definitely. Most definitely, you should do that. I don't know why I'm yawning so much. This is crazy. Same thing comes out of here of Euro News. Worst case global warming cut by over 1 degree Celsius, which is like 3 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we got this story. It says that Iran says their peace proposal includes reparations for war damage. Well, that ain't happening. Not have a freezer for 15 years, nor many things until a few months ago. How do you live without a freezer? Wow. And they want U.S. troop withdrawal. They want all U.S. troops moved out of the Middle East. Well, that ain't happening. Trump said on Monday he had paused in Tehran's first comments. They said that Tehran also sought the lifting of sanctions, release of frozen funds, and to the U.S. Marine blockade. Yes, and they want reparations and money. And, it's not going to happen. Under pressure, release a accord to open the strait, a key supply route. Trump previously expressed hope that the deal was close. There seems to be a very good chance they could work something out. If we could do that without bombing the hell out of them, we'd be happy. That's what Trump's saying. I got this news story here. A man wrongly convicted of killing 2 Michigan hunters in 1990 agrees to a $5.25 million settlement. A man who spent 21 years in prison for the death of 2 Michigan hunters agrees to a $5.25 million settlement after accusing police of failing to turn over evidence that could help him at trial. Jeff Titus was released in 2023 after his murder conviction were erased. At the request of the prosecutors, the Innocent Clinic at the University of Michigan Law School and 2 investigators got authorities to acknowledge that an Ohio serial killer might have been the person who killed the hunters. Titus has long declared his innocence. And he's been a long road. He's 74. He lost 2 decades of his life, and the money doesn't make up for the lost decades. An email seeking comment from a lawyer who defended a retired homicide detective in the lawsuit was immediately answered. What was his prior criminal history? I don't think he had any. I'd have to look. Titus initially was cleared as a suspect, but murder charges were filed against him 12 years later. Prosecutors portrayed Titus as a hothead who didn't like trespassers. Students and staff at the University of Michigan Law School were trying to get a new trial when a 30-page file from the original investigation was discovered at a county sheriff's office. It was a blockbuster, referred to an alternate suspect, Thomas Dillon of Magnolia, Ohio. Jacinda Davis, at the TV network Investigation Discovery, and Sue Simpson through the podcast Undisclosed raised doubts about Titus's guilt and aired questions about Dillon's possible role. Dillon died in prison in 2011, was arrested in 1993, and ultimately pleaded guilty to killing 5 people in Ohio who had been hunting, fishing, or jogging. The lawsuit that was settled Monday did not center on Dillon as an alternate suspect. Rather, police were accused of violating Titus's rights by not sharing information that could have cast doubt on trial testimony of a key witness. That's it. That's all we got on it. And then this is a local news story, I believe, from Kalamazoo, Michigan. So we'll see what they say.
A wrongfully convicted man who spent more than 20 years in prison for the murders of 2 hunters in Kalamazoo County will get millions in a settlement reached today. Jeff Titus will receive $5.25 million in the settlement with the insurance company of one of the Kalamazoo County cold case detectives who targeted him, according to his attorney. Titus filed a $100 million wrongful conviction lawsuit in federal court in 2023 against 2 cold case detectives. He claimed they withheld evidence about an alternate suspect in the 1990 deaths of 2 deer hunters in Kalamazoo County. Titus spent 21 years in prison before his exoneration earlier in 2023.
Wow. You know, I would really like to know what the evidence was against him. So a wrongfully convicted man who spent more than 20 years in prison for the murder of 200. What evidence did they have he did it? Just that they were killed on his property, and they said, oh, he just didn't like trespassers, so he killed them? That's it? Is that all they had? 5.52 million. He probably didn't have a criminal history. Well, I think the standard is like 20 grand a year or something, or 50 grand a year or something they're supposed to get if you're wrongfully convicted. Like it's like a standard. Hey, it should be $1 million a year if you ask me. If they pull shit like this, it's not his whole life. Yeah, it's still not worth it. It's not. He should get 20 million. He should get $1 million a year at a minimum. He says he was wrongfully convicted. We're happy this case is a successful conclusion. While it cannot make up for 2 lost decades, Titus will be able to move forward. I would like to know what evidence they had. What evidence did they have? Not long after the murders, witnesses identified Thomas Dillon, a convicted serial killer from Ohio, saying he was in the area at the time of the killings. At least 1 million? Yeah. The original detectives eliminated Titus as a suspect because he had an alibi. Witnesses early on said Titus was hunting 27 miles away at the time of the murders. Guilty of sin or innocent man? Cold case detectives disagree. The cold case team picked up the case in 99, leading to Titus's conviction on 2 counts of first-degree murder. Life in prison. So let's see. I'm going to click on this just because I want to see.
Wrongfully convicted of a double murder in Kalamazoo County was released from prison. We're hearing from 2 cold case detectives with sharply different reactions.
Jeff Titus served 21 years before a federal judge ordered his release. Tiger Date investigator Ken Kolker, whose reports in 2017 exposed serious flaws in the case, was there when Titus walked free. He spoke to the former cold case detectives, all new tonight at 6.
Brian and Sue, the 2 members of the Kalamazoo County cold case team that helped investigate the double murder, couldn't disagree more about the outcome. Both are retired.
Former cold case detective Mike Brown was not part of the welcoming committee at Jeff Titus was released last month.
They cleared Jeff Titus. I don't know, did you see the video of him walking out of prison?
No, let me correct you on that. They didn't clear him. They just let him out of prison.
A federal judge vacated Titus's conviction in the 1990 murders of hunters Doug Estes and Jim Bennett in the Fulton State game area, right next to Titus's land. The judge ruled that Titus didn't get a fair trial in 2002 because his defense wasn't told about evidence against an alternate suspect, Ohio serial killer Thomas Dillon, who has since died.
You believe they freed a guilty man?
Yes, sir, I sure do. And that doesn't surprise me, to be honest with you.
What fucking evidence do you have he was guilty? Just you believe it? See, this is the problem. You get cops like this who they believe, oh, this guy's guilty. I know he is. And they'll do whatever they have to do. Kind of like another case that turned out the opposite way, the OJ case. Those cops thought OJ was guilty, and maybe he was. Maybe he was involved in it. But they planted evidence in the OJ case, and that fucked everything up. You can't do this shit. Yeah. If this is just one case, how much more is in the archives? You ain't kidding. I would want to look at every fucking case this clown was involved, this cop was involved in, because he clearly gets an idea of who he thinks did it and just goes for that person.
Will you? We have a socialist democratic party in charge of our country.
The retired detective says he recalls hearing about Dillon, but not until after Titus's conviction. He says they had plenty of evidence against Titus.
He is guilty of sin.
Days after the murders, Titus called police to say he had found the shotgun of one of the victims in the woods.
It was clean. It was clean. There was no fingerprints on that gun at all.
Not his, not Doug Estes's?
No fingerprints on that.
What the fuck
says Titus, who...
What does that prove? Maybe the guy wiped it off, the killer. You don't have proof he did it. He didn't have to report the fucking gun. He could have got rid of it. This is so ridiculous. There was a gun. Oh. Maybe. Maybe. He must have did it. He called us and told us he found this gun. Maybe OJ was still so guilty. Once cops start planting evidence, though, K-Bean, other things you gotta say, wait, what the fuck? Like, they know for a fact that the blood evidence was planted because the blood evidence had the anticoagulant stuff out of the test tubes in it. Like the blood on the blood, the blood on the vehicle, on the Bronco, and the blood that was found on other places had the anticoagulant in it. This came out in trial. So they know somebody fucked around with blood and planted it. That's all I'm saying. Once cops start doing that, all bets are off. I'm sorry. If it was cold, hunters wear gloves. Yeah. Yeah. Here.
Was protective of his land, talked like a guilty man.
I talked to a lot of
Talked
people
like a
that
guilty
knew him.
man.
He bragged about the guys dying. He bragged about it. And he said if they were on my property, I'd kill them.
But he never directly told anybody he killed them, right?
No, he never said he killed them.
But not everyone on the cold case team thought Titus was a killer.
I didn't think he did it.
From the start, former cold case detective Rich Madison argued against the team pursuing Titus when the case was reopened in 1999.
But it got to the point where, we were basically yelling at each other and whatnot.
Because you thought Jeff Titus didn't do it.
Yeah,
They were convinced he did.
I was standing my ground.
Yeah.
And, they were just shaking their head at me.
Instead, he agreed with the original detectives who had cleared Titus after alibi witnesses put him 27 miles away hunting on their land at the time of the murders.
He had a pretty ironclad alibi.
He says he brought it to a captain. The captain, he says, took him off the case.
I just can't sit back and be quiet about it. I'm not going to be part of sending an innocent man to prison.
The Kalamazoo County prosecutor says he still has not decided whether he's going to retry the case.
He's not going to retry the case. They just gave him a whole bunch of money. They ain't retrying shit. They have no fucking evidence he did it. They use like trickery and shit. And a jury that didn't say like, oh, well, obviously this is the problem is a lot of people go into a jury and they go, well, they wouldn't have arrested the guy if he's not guilty. That's the problem. They don't go, wait a minute. So that's a crazy case. All right. Then we got this story here. Trump asked by leaders of Saudi Arabia and Qatar to hold off on attacking Iran. Wait, what? Say what? What are they doing? President Trump revealed that he's been asked by leaders of several countries to hold off on a planned U.S. military strike on Iran. I've been asked by the Emir of Qatar, Tamim bin Hamad Balabadu, and the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salam Al Saad, and the President of the UAE, Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. It's a lot of bin Yang, bin buys and bins in there. A lot of bins. I'm tired of watching cases that should have never been charged. It's crazy. You ain't kidding. Man. So they said, please hold off on attacking. It's a serious negotiations that are taking place. So no nuclear weapons for Iran. The clock is ticking. They better get moving fast. Trump pulls back on plans to attack Iran tomorrow, citing serious negotiations. Trump said he will hold off on his plan to attack on Tuesday. So are we going to attack on Wednesday then? All right, Nero, have a good day. See ya. Enjoy your dinner. I was asked by Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and UAE and others if I could put it off for 2 or 3 days, short period of time, because they think they're getting very close to making a deal. The president's remark came about an hour after he fired off a social media post saying that he would delay the strikes amid process negotiations. I don't know. They keep delaying. And all it does, in my opinion, this is my opinion now. All it does by delaying is you're letting them harden more things. You're letting them get more things in position. Unless this is just because we don't have things in position ourselves. I don't know. It's possible we don't have stuff in our position ourselves. So, President told the Post on Monday he didn't have time to chat about Iran. Too many things are happening, but he said that What's going to be happening soon, adding that it's not open to any concession. We've had periods of time where we had thought we were pretty much getting close to making a deal and it didn't work out, but this is a little bit different now. Tall Trump tales of you got lucky, Iran. So 20 years is enough, but the level of guarantee from them is not enough. So several hawks in the Republican Party are urging Trump to return to the war front. Lindsey Graham, of course, Lindsey Graham. Draw a circle around where you know it's at, calls a circle of death. Anyone who goes inside that circle is going to die until we can find out a way to make a deal with this. So I guess that's what they're doing. Anyone that enters the circle around where the nuclear stuff is just going to get killed. U.S. running out of ammo is a consideration. Here's the thing that I don't understand, all right? Seriously, QEd? If this short, all right, this very short little conflict that happened, it wasn't a full-blown war. Let's be clear. We were not seeing the bombing efforts that we saw in Afghanistan or Iraq in either 91 or in 2003 in Iraq. Remember shock and awe in Iraq? That was some serious bombing campaign that lasted 30 days. Every night, nonstop. This stuff in Iran wasn't anything like that. How could we be out of ammo? If our ammo is that depleted, that means we gave way too much shit to Ukraine that we couldn't afford to give them. That Biden basically sold us the fuck out. Because if something was to kick off with China, we only have like 3 weeks, 4 weeks to fight with China, and then we have to just go, well, we got no more bullets left. We got to surrender. That's ridiculous. Yeah, we're not out of ammo. That's what I'm saying. If we are, there's people that need to go to prison for putting us in that situation. But I don't think we're even close to being out of ammo. Trump postponed scheduled attack on Iran at the request of Middle East leaders. Trump, UAE, among other countries, urged pause on planned Iran strikes. Trump pauses planned military strikes against Iran, cites further negotiations.
President Trump says he has called off an attack on Iran that was scheduled for today.
He says the decision follows a request from Middle Eastern allies to allow more time for an agreement to end the war. Doug Luzader has more from Washington.
A procession through Tehran as Iranians
That's
defiantly celebrate.
پاسدار خلبان علی
Iranian state television broadcast a warning from the head of Iran's Joint Military Command, saying forces were prepared even after President Trump announced his latest move.
We were getting ready to do a very major attack tomorrow. I put it off for a little while, hopefully maybe forever, but possibly for a little while.
The president said yesterday that attack was planned for today, and all of this played out on social media. On Sunday, the president wrote, "For Iran, the clock is ticking, and they better get moving fast, or there won't be anything left of them." And yesterday, the reversal. We will not be doing the scheduled attack of Iran tomorrow.
I was asked by Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, and some others if we could put it off for 2 or 3 days, a short period of time, because they think that they are getting very close to making a deal.
That deal, he says, will have to cover Iran's nuclear program, something Iran has refused to abandon. This may be part of a last-ditch effort.
I think the president understands that he needs to induce Iran to come to the negotiating table. He's giving Iran one more day, but I don't see any evidence that we're going to be able to avoid additional military strikes.
Our Doug Luzader joins us live from Washington this morning. And Doug, you just mentioned that the president is promising a large-scale assault if they cannot come to a deal. Any word on what that could potentially look like?
Well, we don't know at this point the state of play as far as negotiations are concerned, should we even get to that point. It's not clear whether Iran is actually getting closer to a deal, as the president thinks. We've certainly seen Iran at this point before, at this juncture, where they make a plea for additional time, or in this case, those around them are making this plea. But will Iran really be willing to give up its nuclear ambitions? That's going to be a critical question.
They released this 14-point plan. Doug, any idea what that entails?
Well, we've seen proposals and counter proposals. Some of this has to do with kind of punting on the nuclear issue until there is some kind of a longer term ceasefire agreed to.
Gotcha. Doug Luzader live in Washington. Thank you, Doug.
Okay, 1 second here. 1 second here. All right. So, yeah. Whoa. My bad. What am I doing here? All right. So let's get to this next story. So we can agree that we don't think that they're out of weapons. You don't know. That's right. Most people talk as if we have unlimited missiles. We're shooting at drones at the time. Trump thought they were going to give up quickly. Well, here's the thing. I think we're not using the crazy missiles anymore. We have the stuff. We'll never run out of weapons. President Trump is preparing for something much bigger in light of negotiations. Only time will tell. I think I don't think military planning improved since Iraq and Afghanistan. I don't know. It sure seems a lot better because we don't have fucking 100,000 troops in there on the ground. I'm telling you, I think we still have bombs left over from Korea. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, we're not out of bombs. What's going to happen, in my humble opinion, is when we start schwacking them again, it's going to be fucking B-52s dropping, 70,000 pounds of bombs from 50,000 feet. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. So you don't have to worry about missiles. It's going to be just 500-pound or 1,000-pound bombs dropping out of a B-52, a whole heap of them, and a whole bunch of B-52s, like 50, 60 B-52s flying in formation, just blah, 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 blah. Later, Gator. That's what's going to happen. Senator Kenny cast a deciding vote on legislation to end the war. The rhino strikes while he's still in office. Yeah, but it's not going anywhere because it's not the House isn't going to take it up, and so it doesn't matter. It's not going anywhere in the House. So possibly, and even if they did pass it, Trump would just veto it, and they don't have a veto-proof majority to do anything about it. So it's not like a thing where they could just get 51% and Trump's got to stop. It's still got to be signed by the president. Maybe Trump should leak the DOW is studying weather patterns and prediction of nuclear fallout in case we nuke the nuclear dust. That would be funny. What's up, Denisha? How you doing? Great to see you tonight. Hey, look at this. We got a $10 from Lisa Day. Thank you. Wow, that means, folks, right now we are just $9 away from adding a first additional hour to the show, folks. Just $9 away. And I know it says on YouTube, if you're looking at the goal, it says that the goal expired. But the way the show works is until I hit the end button, if the money comes in, I extend the show. So we have, a little while left. If we get that other $9 in, we will add another hour to the show. Iran is about out of money. That will be the end from within. That's right. So now you guys saw the shooting that took place in San Diego at the mosque, right? Well, it's being reported by a Muse, who I trust is a pretty reputable person. He says San Diego mosque shooting suspect identified as a 17-year-old Kane Clark and 18-year-old Caleb Vasquez identified as a transgender couple by classmates. Now, I'm not saying this is true. I'm saying this is what's being reported. And it says they were identified as a transgender couple by classmates. 3 men dead, including a security guard. Drive-by media will bury the shooter's identity and ideology. San Diego mosque shooters identified as trans couple. There's the pictures. I don't know. I got to close me some tabs here. All right. And then just because I like to be fair, Andy No says it has not been confirmed that one of the deceased teen suspects is trans. Cheers. People should not repost or share rumors from non-journalists just because there's been many other trans shooters. Here's the manifesto. It's a leftist manifesto where this guy rants about Jews for 50% of his 34-page manifesto. And it says this. Then we got this this post here. It says the smuggiest of them chimed in, then deleted. This is from Richard Hanania. He's like a crazy leftist. And he says, victims were Muslim, but perpetrators were trans. Neither side of the political spectrum wants to emphasize this one. Richard Hanania. He's a wackadoo leftist. All right. And then this is from this guy. He says, media hypocrisy, trans shooter Robin Westrom opened fire on a Catholic kids at the Annunciation Church during Mass in Minneapolis. The New York Times headline, motive is a mystery. Meanwhile, 2 Hispanic teens shoot up a San Diego mosque. New York Times, attack comes amid rising reports of Islamophobia. Crazy, right? It's crazy, right? Oh. Maybe furries too. Who really knows anymore? Can't tell. Journalists are non-journalists. Yes. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Jim. No singing.
Tactical assessment. Red Chinese victory. Impossible. America will never fall to communist invasion. Communism is the very definition of failure.
Thank you so much, Christine. With that 10, that means we are now just $99 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. That's right. Just 99 away from a second additional hour. I will update the goal on YouTube as we speak, and we'll get it going, and we'll get ready to crank up another hour of show for all you people. Thank you. Anyone seeing a pattern here? That Islamophobia is nonsense, in my opinion. Yes. So we will see. We're going to get into this. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see it. Want to hear it? Want to see it? Or we'll talk about it? Want to hear it? Here it goes. Wow, look at that, man. That's crazy. We only have 96 likes. We got over 200 people watching. Come on, people. We can do better. You can hit that like button. You've been here for a couple hours watching the show. You're going to say you don't like it? It's that bad? You don't like the show that much? That's crazy. That's just nuts. I'm going to reset the goal here for 1 hour. I'm going to do 10 yellow super chats, but it doesn't have to be yellow super chats. It could be any number of super chats, but we add it all up. And when we hit $100, we're going to add an additional hour to the show. That's how it works. That's how it do. There we go. New goal for 1 hour. Thank you so much. We'll get cracking and get doing. What'd you miss? Not much. Nuance of history. U.S. Air Corps dropped tens of millions of leaflets over Nissan War Machine military production hubs, warning civilians to get out pending doom. Nagasaki, Hiroshima was chosen. Yeah, well. I see your pup dreams. Her leg was moving. Yeah, she moves. She moved. She was in there. She goes. Yeah, she was in a different position earlier. They're under persecution by Muslims and Jews. They are under more persecution by Muslims than Jews. Muslims would throw them off a roof. Jews, at least Reformed Jews, would accept them. Is there Christianophobia as well? I think so. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we got this. It says the San Diego mosque shooters live streamed the deadly attack. The FBI probes the footage. So they live streamed it. So we're going to have to wonder what they were saying. That thing on here on the shirt, this thing is like a Ukrainian Nazi type sun, a black sun or something. It's what that, what's it called? The Azov battalion. And we all know that Ukraine did have a transgender person doing their news reports. Remember that woman, guy, whatever it was, that was out there cheering when they killed Coach Red Pill, Lira, something Lira. What was his name? Rodolfo Lira. They call it Christian nationalism. Yeah. Left has Christianophobia and Americanophobia. Yes. Goodbye, Thomas Massey. Shocking manifesto reveals teen shooters' vile motivations behind the San Diego mosque shooting.
Morning in Southern California turned into utter chaos after 2 teen gunmen opened fire on a San Diego mosque. in an alleged suicidal anti-Muslim shooting spree.
Anti-Muslim.
Who are Kane
Okay.
Clark and Caleb Velasquez, the alleged Islamic Center shooters, and what were their reported motives for the heinous act? Here's what you need to know. On May 18th, a San Diego neighborhood was hurled into mayhem when two suspected teenage gunmen fired shots at San Diego's largest mosque. Kids, staff, and teachers cowered inside as several shots rang out at the San Diego Islamic Center in the city's Claremont neighborhood. Authorities said officers swarmed the Islamic Center within 4 minutes of the first emergency calls, launching what police described as a fast-moving and, quote, dynamic response. By the time cops responded, the two teenage gunmen had already killed 3 men, including hero security guard Amin Abdullah. Authorities confirmed Abdullah, a father of 8, played a, quote, pivotal role in holding back the shooters.
One of the deceased is a security guard that works there, and I think played a pivotal role in assisting from this being much worse.
Terrifying aerial video from Fox 5 San Diego captured more than a dozen kids who looked no older than 5 years old, evacuating in a single file as they were guided to safety by law enforcement. Police later found the two gunmen, identified by a law enforcement source as 17-year-old Kane Clark and 18-year-old Caleb Velasquez, dead inside a BMW from self-inflicted gunshot wounds only a few blocks from the center. And police are still piecing together why two camouflaged teens went on the rampage. According to police, a concerned mother of one of the suspected teen shooters had frantically alerted cops a few hours before that her suicidal son had run away. But the situation escalated when the mother later learned that weapons were missing from the home and her car was gone. She told authorities her son had dressed in camouflage and was with an acquaintance at the time, which San Diego Police Chief Scott Wall noted changed the threat level of the investigation.
That began to trigger a larger threat assessment picture. Our threat management unit began to take the tips and leads that we had and utilize the technology we have available to us. Our license plate readers was at the top of that list. We began to have, we noted that there were hits with the vehicle down in Fashion Valley. We dispatched officers into the area of the mall as a possible location that was a threat.
Police spent 2 hours scrambling to locate the suspects before they received a call of an active shooter at the Islamic Center at approximately 11:43 a.m. Police confirmed they are investigating the attack as a hate crime and that hate rhetoric was, quote, involved in the shooting. Sources told the Post that anti-Islamic writings were found in the suspect's vehicle and hate speech was written on the firearms used in the shooting. A shotgun and gas can with an SS sticker on the side were located at the scene where the gunmen's bodies were discovered. The SS sticker appears to represent the Schutzstaffel, the paramilitary organization led by Heinrich Himmler under Adolf Hitler's Nazi regime in Germany. Cops said the San Diego mosque shooters were, quote, radicalized online. A supposed live stream video of the horrific attack obtained by the California Post shows Clark with a black sun symbol, which is associated with Nazi Germany, square on his chest. Also spotted on the handgun of one of the shooters is the statement, "Race war now," right above a swastika. Clark, one of the suspected shooters, attended Madison High School and was a standout wrestler, according to the school's social media page. His grandfather, David Clark, said, quote, "We're very sorry for what happened. We know as much as you do. It's a shock." A neighbor of one of the suspected gunmen said they knew the family, quote, fairly well, and even said that the alleged gunmen would help them bring in groceries and waved at them that very morning.
And he's helped us bring in our groceries. They all have. They
Oh,
got
we're
me
here.
a cake when I turned 80. Growing up, he was typical. We've seen with green hair and blue hair, and we didn't talk much. But then, like I said, he helped us bring in our groceries, and he'd wave at us. In fact, he just waved at you when? Today or yesterday?
This morning.
Yeah.
The Islamic Center of San Diego will be closed as police continue their investigation. Wall said authorities would be reviewing the center's cameras and still had to sort through a, quote, tremendous amount of information. Sources told The Post the FBI is also investigating the alleged horrifying live stream footage from the suspected shooters. The center's Imam Taha Hassan said that his community is mourning after the horrific massacre.
The door of the Islamic Center, we never ask them whether you are a Muslim or not. Who are you? Because everyone is welcome. So let's do our best to spread this culture of love and tolerance and sympathy for the sake of this nation, for the sake of the future generation.
I don't believe
It's
him.
time to get more from your kitchen. LG kitchen appliances are designed.
I don't believe that guy. I think that guy is practicing tequila. So authorities are investigating whether Kane Clark and Cain Velasquez wrote the nihilistic missive before killing 3 people. The New Crusade, Sons of Tarrant. The Sons of Tarrant debut manifesto. The shooters idolized a New Zealand shooter, Brenton Tarrant, and named the manifesto after him. The document is laden with the same Nazi iconography that Clark is seen wearing during the live stream video of the attack, including the black sun, which is associated with the Nazi SS Heinrich Himmler. Well, I saw that black sun and people in Ukraine wearing it, the Azov battalion. If this is real, a big if, I'm sorry, but don't pretend Islam is peaceful because it's not. No, it's not. No, they're here to conquer. Yeah, what a shame kids online can be dangerous. They are not known for those things. No, they are not. I saw a very potato long version of the vid. No audio. Was a phone recording a phone. Not much to see. Did look like they had a lot of feet issues with the guns. Clark appeared wounded. Partner tried. Okay. It's all a bit suspect. Sources said the investigation has a copy to purported manifesto. Jennifer Dew, who lives across the street from the Clark's $750,000 SoCal home, recalled seeing the 17-year-old the day before they opened fire inside the Islamic Center. See, this to me, this gas can thing looks very suspect because that sticker in that gas, it looks like that sticker was just put on there. To me, that's what it looks like to me. I don't know. That doesn't look like it's been on there a long time. Seems very odd to me. It's been unreal. I saw him literally the day before. He just stood there. So you can see he's bleeding from the mouth. Still from the live stream before Kane shoots Vasquez in the head and turns the gun on himself. We were just flabbergasted. A section believed to have been written by Clark describes his view as neither left or right wing and voiced a seething disdain for both sides. He claimed to align ideologically with Hitler and said he drew inspiration for the horrific assault on the mosque from ideologically driven mass murders, including Ted Kaczynski, Timothy McVeigh, and Andrews Breivik. He described the 2019 Christchurch mosque shooter as a blueprint for live streaming the terror attack, which they hope to be widely shared. So I wonder, were these guys on Kiwi Farms? Isn't that the only place you can actually watch that live stream of that shooting is on Kiwi Farms? A shotgun is seen with hateful messages scrawled on it. The unhinged dispatch contains a scattershot of derogatory and racist views targeting a number of groups, including Muslims, Jews, gay people, among others, describing itself as an accelerationist and hope to instigate an all-out race war to bring about the collapse of society. The grandma is suspect too. They're lying. Your standard incels. How convenient. The perfect manifesto and everything's just perfect. I don't trust it. Dems will try to take our guns like after Uvalde. Thank God children are okay. In Vasquez's portion, he lamented being short, which he said caused him great pain and humiliation. Clark also chillingly stated he felt no remorse for his action and wrote that had he survived, he would have allowed his lawyers to handle everything afterwards. He also denied carrying out the attack for fame, admitting he personally hated the victims and other cultures and said he did not intend to survive the shooting. Online profiles linked to Clark featured multi-Nazi slogans, images of Hitler and German soldiers. Clark and Vasquez gunned down 3 people on Monday, including a security guard and father of 8, who police say prevented more deaths. Isn't that symbol on the right just like a nuclear, like a radiation symbol or something, like bio symbol or something? The Black Sun, the Atomwaffen Division. So that's Atomwaffen Division. It's sealed with a radio symbol, similar to the Waffen SS Division. So I've never seen that before. 2 other members of the mosque, Nadir Awad and Mansour Kazia, were identified as victims of the shooting. Atomwaffen, radiation. That's Aztec, I think. I don't know. I've never seen it before. I don't know. At least one of the suspects took a weapon from his parents' home and left a suicide note that talked about racial pride. I mean, weren't they both Hispanic? I mean, Vasquez and I don't know. Weren't they? I don't know. Pronounced Waffen, Atomwaffen. After the shooting, and the live stream appeared to show Clark shoot Vasquez twice in the head before taking his own life. The police said the FBI are actively investigating and executing search warrants in the coming days. The other's a Black Sun. Was there only 1 victim? No, I guess there was 3. There was 1 security guard and then 2 other men. This talks about the San Diego mosque shooters live streamed the deadly attack. So I wonder where it was live streamed to. The footage is spreading across social media. It shows the terror as it unfolded. The video recorded from what appears to be a body cam showed 17-year-old Clark outfitted in a vest with 18-year-old as they stormed the Islamic Center with their weapons and opened fire. No, I think 3 died. Total of 3 died. Well, 5 total died. And at one point, they could be standing over a body with a pool of blood. So that's a picture of a Mini 14, which strange, not really considered to be a assault rifle. It's a Ruger Mini 14. It's not really a very accurate gun. It's not very productive. And if you don't have actual, I shouldn't be, I don't know. This is like I'm giving advice. I'm not giving advice. Never mind. I was just going to say they have magazine issues, Ruger Mini 14s. If you don't get like actual Ruger made magazines, if you get like the cheap aftermarket magazines, they suck. That's all I'll say. 17. I knew nothing at 17. Hey, what's up, Doc? Great to see you. Just the mom knowing what her son was going to do. Give me a break. Yeah. Hey, Beach for Now says, love the show. All the people here need to make a frozen dinner now. Take care. Leave a turkey. My Italian. All right. Take care. Thanks for being here. The Mini 14 has feed issues. They had issues with the shotgun. Clark had a hand cycle the pistol after each shot. And I think maybe they were limp wristing the pistols or something. I love the Second Amendment, but the owners need to be in control of them. Yeah, I mean, I think what probably happened is maybe if they were, the one was 18, 17, maybe they got taken to their parents took them to the range and stuff like that. They knew where the guns were. I mean, when I was growing up, there was no such thing as a safe or gun safe. When I was growing up, you knew guns were where they were. You knew how to work them. You knew how to load them. If somebody broke into the house, and you knew they were tools, not toys. I don't know. Things have changed, though. Things have changed. After driving away from the scene, The alleged video cuts to show what appears to be Clark sitting in a driver's seat with a pistol. He reaches over and shoots his accomplice in the head, reloads and shoots him again before putting a gun under his own chin to pull the trigger. The pair were found dead in a BMW a few blocks away from the mosque. At least one of the suspects left a suicide note that talked about racial pride after taking a weapon from his parents' home. Which one? Which one talked about racial pride? Anti-Islamic writings were found in the suspect's vehicle, and hate speech was written on the firearms. So somebody wrote hate speech? Is that what they actually wrote, the word hate speech? Is that what's getting twisted here? Is they wrote the words hate speech? Or did they write hate speech? Because to me, they put it in quotes, so they wrote hate speech on the gun. So it wasn't they wrote hate, they wrote the words actual hate speech. Freaking YouTube, did I miss you dancing on Massey and the rest of the halal rights graves? You did. You did. Sorry. We covered it already. Back to work. Hopefully this will go quickly. Well, I hope so. I hope you're doing good. A shotgun and a gas can with an SS sticker, which appears to represent, it appears to represent. Officers responded to the Islamic Center. All the kids were safe, which that's good. We don't want any kids to be hurt. Quite the story already before the investigation. It is. It's really weird that they got all this information out there. This could have been way worse. In Congress, they think an AR-15 is an assault rifle, please. I will rewind later. No problem. Well, that's the problem. It's like an assault rifle, technically, the term assault rifle comes from the Sturmgewehr. Sturmgewehr, whatever you want to call it, Sturmgewehr. Sturmgewehr, storm rifle, Sturmgewehr is assault rifle, the German assault rifle, which was the term came from. That's select fire gun, one that you can go between full auto and single action, not single, and semi-auto, which they're very hard to get in the U.S. Very hard because of the Hughes Amendment. And it just says the alleged shooters were Kane Clark and Caleb Velasquez, which is odd too, because the one kid is 17 and they released his name, which he's a minor still. And I didn't think they were supposed to release minors' names. They always do that. We can't release the minors' names. But in this case, they just go, we're going to release his name.
Meanwhile, 3 people killed in a shooting at San Diego's largest mosque yesterday. 2 teenage suspects were found dead in a nearby car with self-inflicted wounds. Police giving this update on that.
Actively investigating this as a hate crime. There are details and information that we are investigating as to exactly what those what the hate speech or the hate words were that were conveyed. It was definitely hate rhetoric that was involved.
We're still trying to learn more about this. So is Matt Finn, our reporter on the scene there in San Diego. And Matt, good morning there in California.
Good morning, Bill. Right now, investigators are working to determine exactly why these 2 young men, 17 and 18 years old, shot and killed 3 people at this Islamic center that on any given day has lots of women and children on the property. And just in, Fox has obtained a photo of 17-year-old Kane Clark, one of the teens believed to be responsible for the senseless act of terror that took place here yesterday. The San Diego police chief calls this shooting a free society's, quote, worst nightmare, and says it began yesterday morning when police got a call at 9:42 a.m. from a distressed mother who reported her son left a note behind and ran away. 3 guns were gone, and her son possibly wanted to take his own life.
Several of her weapons were missing. Her vehicle was missing, in addition to her son. She also said that her son was with a companion and that they were dressed in camo.
That police chief says as officers were taking in information from the concerned mother and realizing the threat was growing, they got reports of an incident at the Islamic Community Center and dispatched themselves, where 3 adults were found dead, including a security guard who's being hailed as a hero for saving lives. Police scanner audio reveals the terrifying moments as this shooting unfolded.
Yeah, it was a murder-suicide.
2 white male masked
They were wearing no camo. One with an automatic weapon, one with a shotgun.
One with an automatic weapon. Oh my God. It wasn't an automatic weapon. It was a Mini 14.
Victims to life-saving measures.
Police say around the same time they were making entry, they got a call of a car a few blocks away that had shot at a landscaper who was going to be okay. And a couple blocks from that scene, they found the two suspects dead in a BMW from self-inflicted gunshot wounds. The police chief says there was hateful rhetoric involved, and this is being investigated as a hate crime. Bill, Dana.
And one of those dead, a father of eight children. Matt Finn, thank you. In San Diego, more to come, hopefully, throughout the day today. Learn more. Thanks.
And James Galliano, retired FBI supervisor, agent, and Fox News contributor, is here as well. Just one more piece of sound from the police chief, Scott Wall, on the mother that the juvenile is trying to alert authorities.
After speaking with the mom began to piece together bits and pieces of information over an extended period of time. The information that she was gathering and conveying to us began to elevate the threat level that we were perceiving with this information. She believed her son was suicidal.
What do you think of this case?
The mother did everything right. And obviously it was a grim scene yesterday, and we're still kind of piecing things together. Look, as far as a hate crime, I mean, the two decedents will not face charges. They're obviously dead in this instance, but trying to understand motivations. And again, Bill and Dana, here's something else. 17 and 18 years old. This has become an epidemic of Gen Z shooters, whether it's the assassination culture we saw in Butler, Pennsylvania, or in Utah with Tyler Robinson, and now these two young men. Most important thing, now that the initial interdiction is done, did anyone direct them to do these things, provide material support? Was anybody else involved in the conspiracy?
Yeah, like why were they the target? Why'd they pick that mosque? We don't know. There was something that was written that was found in this car. Whether it was a suicide note or some sort of manifesto, do we know about that at all, James?
We don't yet. That hasn't been released yet. I'm sure we're going to hear about this in the next day or so, Bill. But again, it goes back to these type of motivations. You take a grievance, you apply an ideology to it, and then your own sense of moral absolutism. And in this instance, Christians, Jews, and Muslims are being targeted across the globe, mostly in Asia and in African parts of the Middle East. But the FBI's tracked these numbers. In the last decade, a doubling of hate crime incidents in the United States.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll continue to follow that, and Matt Finn is on the ground for us as well. In the meantime, in Washington.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. That doubling of hate crimes, a lot of them were fake. A lot of them were fake. Like, remember when they went to look at the that racist, somebody hung a noose in that Bubba Wallace's garage at that one track, and then they were like, wait, every garage has that same thing. It's a fucking pull rope. Somebody just tied the easiest pull rope, went like this, took the rope and made it so it was a pull rope. So everyone's the same. Remember that? They dispatched a whole bunch of FBI agents there for that bullshit. And then the videos of the people painting the swastikas on stuff that are fake. It's like, oh, it's a black guy painting the swastikas. Oh, great. The people doing the fake stuff at the colleges, setting up the fake hate crimes, they report on it. They make a bunch of news. It's a hate crime. They investigate. And then when they find out it was staged by the person that made the report, they just go, oh, yeah, and it goes away. But and they add them to the fake statistics. Yep. And they do. How do the psych smugs compare to this statistic? I don't know. This is what you get for watching the news, Jim. Yeah, well, I have to do it so that you guys don't. And I will point out the bullshit when I see it. And I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So grandfather says he was very sorry for what happened. It's a shock. Chicago hate crime shooting suspect researched Jewish targets, had pro-Hamas material on his phone. Wait a minute. What's this? What is this? Remains unclear is it's being investigated as a hate crime. Well, there's nobody to charge, so. So wait a minute. So this house, I just want to point out something. Look at this house. All right. This house. All right. This is crazy. This house is $750,000. That's the house. That house that they're saying, remember they said he's living in a $750,000 house? That's a $750,000 house. That honestly, that house looks like a $200,000 house to me. That's what I'm saying. That's a stick-built house. There's no brick anywhere, with one roof peak. That's like a starter home that should be like 150 grand, maybe. Yeah, it's San Diego. It's very expensive. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's crazy insane. You take that house and plop it in the Midwest somewhere, it's a $150,000 house tops. Tops. Very overpriced. Yeah. All right. So let's check out this one. This is crazy. This story, we're getting extra stories I didn't even know about. It wouldn't even withstand the wolf huffing and puffing. No, this. Yep. Like they say, it's location, location, location. 50K maybe. Yeah. You live in a $25,000 house. It's great. There's no land. Yeah, no land or whatsoever. So a Chicago hate crime shooting suspect researched Jewish targets, had pro-Hamas material on his phone. Mauritanian nationals facing more than a dozen charges, including attempted murder and hate crime and felony counterterrorism. Jewish man gunned down walking to a synagogue. What is this?
We're back in this country now in Chicago. A gunman accused of opening fire on an Orthodox Jewish man walking to service on Saturday. Chicago police are looking into a potential hate crime here. And there is video, too. Jonathan Hunt's got the story. He's live on the West Coast with us now. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Bill. The alleged shooter in this case now faces 6 charges of attempted murder after shooting a Jewish man, then opening fire on responding officers. But police say they do not yet have enough evidence to know the shooter's motive or to call the initial shooting a hate crime.
Oh, but wait, they called that other crime a hate crime already. Like immediately, like within minutes, they called that a hate crime. But this one, they're not going to say is a hate crime.
We do the initial shooting a hate crime.
We do investigations, and our investigations is based on facts that we gather into evidence in order to present charges. Until we have those facts, we will not announce charges. It's about what we can prove at the time based on the facts.
Police say the suspect, seen here on a neighborhood security camera, first shot a man who was on his way to synagogue on the city's north side and wearing a yarmulke, the typical Jewish head covering. The man was hit in the shoulder. Jewish community leaders believe it was a targeted shooting.
Our community would like to see this as a hate crime. There is, here he was walking to synagogue, and we are very concerned.
As police officers arrived at the scene of the first shooting, they too were fired at. None of the officers was injured, although an ambulance was struck by a bullet. The shooter, identified by police as 22-year-old Sidi Mohammed Abdullahi, was shot by officers and is now in the hospital, and investigators have not yet been able to interview him because of his injuries. Police say he shouted something at officers during the confrontation, but they can't say what at this point. They also say, Bill, there may be...
how much you want to bet that what he shouted was Halu Akbar? What do you want to bet? Anyone want to bet that's what he shouted? But they're like, we can't say right now. Yes, hate crimes don't exist. A crime is a crime. Yes, I personally don't think there should be special exemptions of crime. I'm showing this, pointing out the dichotomy, the double standard that this crime that targeted a Muslim, place, they immediately called it a hate crime before they did anything. They came right to this is a hate crime. We're calling this a hate crime until we prove it's not a hate crime. This other crime happening where it was a Muslim named dude attacking a Jew. They're like, well, we can't call it a hate crime. We don't know what it was. Maybe he just didn't like the guy's hat. Maybe he hates hats. Maybe it's an anti-hat thing.
Further charges if necessary. The Jewish victim, by the way, is now out of the hospital and is said by friends to be, quote, doing okay.
Good for him and his family. Thank you, Jonathan. We'll follow it. Jonathan Hunt.
All right. All right, here we go. We got some more people talking about this. More people talking about it. An imam. Here's the imam of that place talking about it. So, do you want to hear what he has to say? The imami.
And director of the Islamic Center of San Diego. How are you?
Good. Thank you.
Very emotional 24 hours. We saw you speaking at the press conference, the news conference yesterday. As these hours pass by and you're digesting everything that has happened.
Very big coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah,
What are your thoughts this morning?
It's hard.
Always the same
It's
people.
hard.
Who would have thought?
I mean, something that we have never ever expected.
I wonder here too. I wonder if they're going to ask him. They're going to ask this imam. Were you the imam 25 years ago before 9/11 when the hijackers were hanging out there at your mosque because your mosque was investigated for links to the 9/11 terrorist attack? You know, just wondering. Yeah, imam's not credible. Yeah, salad snack bar. Yes, that's what he was yelling. Yes. Ask him about Israel. See what he says. Yeah, good question.
To happen at the Islamic Center of San Diego. I mean, we had before like attempt to vandalize or, hate mails, something like this. But to this point, having shooters going inside the building and shooting our people, this was something that we have never expected.
You were actually there yesterday.
I was inside the building.
Tell us what happened.
So basically, in the morning, around.
Well, here, about that, where we at? About that, was Legionio's a hate crime against CEOs of healthcare companies? No, they did try to classify it as terrorism because of the way he stalked them, and it was because he did it to do, like, the definition of terrorism is you're doing something to change, like, policy, to change stuff in society. You have a political motivation for what you're doing is the definition of terrorism. So what Luigi Mangione did was terrorism by the definition. But a federal judge and the New York county judge said, no, you can't charge him with terrorism. What are you, nuts? This is just a murder.
Around 10, I had a class from Escondido, students coming to visit the Islamic Center, have a tour. I gave them presentation, answered their questions. Around 11, I finished with them around 11:15. So I escorted.
All right, wait, I don't need to hear about your day. So it's the security guards remembered. He saved a lot of lives. I think the locked door saved a lot of lives. The door was locked. They couldn't get through the door. That's what saved lives. Was the locked door. Let's be honest. Come on. That's what saved lives. Okay. And I'm seeing reports. I don't know if they're true. Did you cover the mushroom cloud in Israel? That was the other day. I did cover it. I don't know. They said that was the only reports I've seen on it. It was very limited. And the only thing they said was that it was a planned detonation. Like it wasn't an accident. So like, it wasn't like an attack or an accident that they did something. It was like a plant, but that's it. It was like a very short statement. And then you can't find anything else about it. Ask him about the October attack in Israel. He'll probably say it was a false flag or front. So Pennsylvania Demon Rats hope to flip Republican-held seats once they settle or toss up primaries. Oh, look at John Potoknik. He does roofing. Look at all those guys on the roof. They even have, this is funny. Watch this. Look at all these guys on the roof. They're all illegal aliens. Every one of them. Every one of those guys is an illegal alien. And he's got them on a fucking video showing, bragging about his roofing. And they're all illegal aliens. I can tell. I'm an expert at spotting illegal aliens. All right. And they're all illegal aliens.
As for Pittsburgh's Action News. And we say thank you so much for joining us for Pittsburgh's Action News for this noon. I'm Lily Coleman. It is primary election day here in the Commonwealth, and voters all across Pennsylvania are heading to the polls. Kicking off our Commitment 2026 coverage, here's Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Carlos Flores.
Polls are officially open. If you're planning on casting your ballot, here's everything you need to know. A reminder, only registered Democrats or Republicans are able to vote for party nominees in a primary election here in Pennsylvania. But all registered voters can vote if your ballot has a constitutional amendment question, a ballot question, or a special election in their districts. Some voters coming to the polls with clear issues in their mind.
Price of gas, economy, in general, is keeping us safe. Look at the little kids in town. It's all important.
McGray says voting was also a no-brainer.
You know what? You can't complain if you don't make an effort to change something. And that's why I'm here.
Looking at Allegheny County, make sure you check your polling location before you vote. 25 polling places have moved to a new location since the last election in McKees Rocks, Moon Township, and the city of Pittsburgh. Those locations are listed on the county's elections website. If it's your first time voting at a new polling place, you need to bring a form of ID. We have a full list of eligible IDs on our website. Just head over to WTAE.com. Polls officially close at 8 p.m., but just to keep in mind, you can still cast your vote if you're in line by 8 p.m. But for now, covering Allegheny County right here in Sewickley, Carlos Flores, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
I haven't said anything. I haven't said anything. All right, let's just be clear. I haven't accused anybody of anything. I didn't say anything was fake. I didn't say anything. I'm just reading news articles, talking about them, explaining what I think, trying to read between the lines, trying to give you the real dope, the straight news, the actual factual. This is Pennsylvania, yeah. What about Alex? He's saying because Alex got sued for defamation. But all I said was that the guy saved lives by the door being locked, which is factual. They couldn't get through the locked door. So Democrats will settle primary fights on Tuesday to help shape the congressional slate for the fall election, where they hope to capture the state's 4 swing districts and ultimately a U.S. House majority. Josh Shapiro and National Democrats are promoting their chosen candidates over progressive rivals, the latest example of a fissure that has divided the party as it grasps for a path back in power in Washington. Yes, it's totally fake and gay. Teleprompter readers, propaganda spewers. Yes. Hail, Pennsylvania. I grew up in the P. In Pittsburgh, got the Vicksburg in Pittsburgh. 3 of the 4 swing districts have contested Demon Rat primaries. In addition to the wide open primary contest in Philadelphia, will almost surely anoint a new seat holder. The campaigns will put Pennsylvanians on the front lines of the Demon Rat efforts to retake Congress and block the last 2 years of President Trump's agenda. The fact that a fucking newspaper is writing that the Congress to block the last 2 years of President Trump's agenda. Wow. It's kind of on the nose for where they're leaning, isn't it? This will also test Shapiro's influence ahead of a possible White House campaign. He's heavily favored to win re-election over Republican candidate Stacey Garrity, state treasurer. So Shapiro's putting his clout on the line in the primaries. Jim tickles you. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. Dems goodbye. Geez Louise, right? 3 of the Demon Rats primary fights are in swing districts held by Republican reps Brian Fitzpatrick, Ryan McKenzie, and Scott Perry. Brian Fitzpatrick, I'm pretty sure, maybe I'm wrong, but I think Brian Fitzpatrick is one of those rhinos that keeps voting with Democrats. You get what you get. Shapiro and the House Democrats campaign arm, the DCCC, have teamed up to endorse the same candidate in each of those contested primaries. Why would they endorse the same candidate in every primary? Washington U.S. Rep. Susan Delbane, chair of the DLCC, said the party wanted top-tier candidates. 2 of those, Janelle Stetson and Bob Harvey, are facing opponents on the left, while another, Bob Brooks, is in a 4-way primary. Stetson, a former local TV anchor and personality, is running in Perry's South Central Pennsylvania district, competing for the nomination against Justin Douglas, a progressive minister and Dauphin County commissioner. Wow, progressive minister. That sounds good. Fitzpatrick's district in suburban Pennsylvania, Harvey, a Bucks County commissioner, is up against Lucilia Salmonelli, a first-time candidate and climate activist. So Paxton and Corning go to runoff for the primary since neither got 50. Yeah, that primary is, I love it when you sing us the news. I try. So Paxton, that primary is 1 week from today. Next Tuesday is their primary. Next Tuesday is the Texas primary. And I think we're going to see the same thing we just saw in Kentucky, the same thing we saw in Louisiana. We're going to see that when Trump endorses somebody, it actually fucking means something in the Republican Party. Brooks's primary is for the right to challenge McKenzie in the Allentown area seat. He's facing former federal prosecutor Ryan Croswell, a former Northampton County executive Lamont McClure, and a former legislative aide Carl Obando Derstein. What's up, Arizona Merce? Jim tells you. I try. You just got home. Thanks. Well, thanks for being here. Yeah, geez, Pennsylvania and Maryland, where I grew up, needs so much help for the truth. It does. It does. Massey F8F yes, he did. Thus we stand. Here's hoping. Not a fan of Paxton, but Cornyn's got to go. I honestly, and I would have been perfectly happy with Senator Wesley Hunt. Congressman Hunt was excellent, and he would have made an excellent senator. Just saying. You know, Thune is butt puckered right now. Well, you know, none of these people are doing what their voters elected them to do. That's the problem. They can't claim that they are. That's why they're losing. Voters aren't necessarily following endorsement. The message of Shapiro's endorsement is always getting through to the voters. Wesley Hunt. That's what I said, right? Didn't I say Wesley Hunt? Or did I say Wes? What did I say? Wesley Hunt. I think he would have been great. I really liked him. You know. Bob Cornyn's got to go. Unfortunately, Paxton's getting your vote. So Tara Chicky, a Democrat voting in South Central Pennsylvania's 10th district, said she liked Shapiro and his endorsement of Stetson might have made a difference if she had known about it. Yeah. Did I say Leslie Hunt? I thought I said Wesley. Hey, no, look at Indiana. Yeah, well, just saying Trump's endorsements matter. Instead, she voted for Douglas to take on Perry. She simply heard more about Douglas than Stelson. So I like Josh Shapiro, but I don't have to agree with everything he says, right? In 2018, the last midterm election cycle under Trump, Pennsylvania Democrats flipped 4 Republican-held seats. In 2024, Perry and McKenzie's margins of victory were among the slimmest in that year's House races. You heard Wesley? I thought I said Wesley. Smaller than the margin by which Trump won those districts. Oh. Fitzpatrick won more comfortably, but he's just one of the 3 House seats elected in districts that also backed Democrat presidential candidate Kamala Harris. Fitzpatrick and Perry are perennial targets of demon rats and have survived repeatedly. Trump's endorsement makes all the difference. No, you don't have to clean out your ears. Sometimes I misspeak. Sometimes because I'm talking fast, sometimes my tongue drags and things sound different. And I'm wearing headphones. I don't hear things correctly. You know what I mean? When I'm saying I'm not hearing myself through my headphones. You had to go back and check. You did say Wesley. Okay. In Philadelphia, the Democrat primary for the seat is widely viewed as a toss-up among 3 candidates. No Republican seeking the party nomination, making the Democrat Party winner a shoo-in. So this is the thing I don't understand. Why Republicans don't even bother running for these seats. They just like abandon them and don't even run. Like what are you doing? What are you doing? It doesn't matter if it's, it's in the ghetto and this and that. Get a black candidate to run. There's black Republicans. Just get one. Find somebody and put them up. Yeah, so much for equal protection under the law. So this guy, Dr. Ayla Stanford, a pediatric surgeon who started Black Doctors Consortium during the COVID-19 pandemics, helped by millions of dollars from 314 Action. Maybe they pay them so they don't split the vote. Maybe. But I mean, I would think in all reality that you would get you could do something. Pennsylvania Democrats hope to flip Republican-held seats once they settle the toss-up primaries. We'll see. Same thing here. Pennsylvania Democrats hope to flip Republican-held seats. This just says what to expect in Pennsylvania primaries. So half of Pennsylvania's 50 Senate seats and all 203 state House seats are up for election in November. Josh Shapiro will also fill in a ballot, but no primary opponents are up against him. So we'll have to see. We'll have to watch it. I mean, Pennsylvania is always a little weird, you know, a little odd, you know, not odd like haha, but odd like strange. Let's get into, I have a bunch of other stuff to open up, but I just wanted to get through a couple of things that I have from Twitter that I could do without having to pull more links up. Shapiro is Jewish. The pro-Palestinian wing's going to have a tough choice. Yes. Yeah, please, please remember to hit the like button. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps. They have sound on their body cams. They know what he yelled, and we know what he yelled. Yeah. Fat Dems back to hope and grab. Yep, that's it. Some places just one party's reality of it. Yeah, but that shouldn't be the case. No matter what, you need to put somebody up. Doesn't matter. You need to put somebody on the ballot. What does that say? That there's no choice. It's just whatever the Democrats. I mean, here's the thing. In all reality, that's what the Voting Rights Act was meant to stop. Because the reason the Voting Rights Act was passed and all this stuff was because one-party states in the South prior to 1965, they were all Democrats in the South. They were all controlled. Everything was controlled by Democrats. It was gerrymandered so that only Democrats could win. And what they would do is they would not allow black Democrats to win. And so they were forced out. They were unable to win. That's what the Voting Rights Act was about. White racist Democrats, the people who've always been the racists, the party of the KKK, the party of Jim Crow, the party of redlining, the party of blockbusting, they stopped black Americans from electing black Americans. They made sure that couldn't happen by gerrymandering districts. That's what stopped because of the VRA. That's what it was about. Now the same thing is still happening, but just now in inner cities. They make it so there's only one choice. It's a Democrat. That's it. You have no choice. Democrat alone. Republicans need to start putting people up for those seats. It's been so corrupt for so long. Yeah. I don't know about this place, but in Massachusetts, when in massive two shits where Karen retrial was, its Democrat rep have zero chance. Well, massive two shits doesn't have any Republicans at all in Congress. None, zero, zip. They have it for 30 years. PA is mostly red. Cities like Philly ruin it for the rest of the state, much like New York City and New York. Yeah. There's no money for a Republican to run in Philly. How much does it cost to put somebody on the ballot? You just put them on the ballot. That's it. Have a name on the fucking ballot so people have a choice. That's it. Yeah, avowed racist LBJ's vision for destroying the black communities has come to fruition. Yeah, they call them Islamic centers to avoid using the word mosque. I'd vote for you, Jim. Well, glad to hear it. Oh, well, that's nice, Steve. You feel that if we were face-to-face, we could be great friends? Well, I try to be friends with everyone until they do something to me that means I can't be friends with them. But I'm very forgiving too. I often forgive people after they've slighted me or done things. I let it go. I've forgiven the person who stabbed me. I've forgiven the person who shot me. I've forgiven them all. Let life go on. Oh my gosh, the former chair of the Durham, North Carolina Committee on the Affairs of Black People has been indicted for embezzling $75,000 of campaign money and spending it on beauty supplies, makeup artists, hairstyles, and PayPal to her friends.
Woman is facing charges after a year-long investigation into potential fraud. Cassandra Stokes, the former Political Action Committee chair of the Durham Committee on the Affairs of Black People, was indicted for embezzlement and obtaining property by false pretenses. The allegations concerning the handling and use of almost $75,000 in PAC funds and related finances during the 2023 and 2024 years. WRAL first reported on the investigation last May. The SBI says the investigation is ongoing. Woman is
Wow, that's crazy, isn't it? Wow. No difference between a shoplifter and her. Democrats love criminals. Criminals love Democrats, and Democrats are criminals. It's absolutely disgusting that these people are always ready to be judgmental about others when they have zero morals. The Democrat manifesto should say, we hate children. We promise to dismember and kill them in the womb. If they happen to survive that abortion, somehow we promise to kill them after they're born. Well, I don't know if I can read. This is. I don't know how much more of this I can read without getting in trouble. Oh, here we go. Rhino Bill Cassidy just voted yes on the anti-Trump Iran war powers resolution, straight up siding with demon rats like the pathetic traitor he is. Louisiana made the right call. There you go. See him? Thumbs up. There he is. Look. Yeah. Fuck Trump. Let's go. Fuck Trump. That's what he said.
Cassidy, aye.
Fuck the American people. That's what he just said. That's him. That's Cassidy. Shitbag. Always has been. Always will be. Yeah. Collins, Murkowski, Cassidy, and Paul voted with the demon rats. That's right. Collins, Murkowski, Cassidy, and Paul. Collins, Murkowski, Cassidy, and Paul. Womp, womp, womp. Womp, 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 womp. Check this out. David Wilcox, the teacher who we exposed for having students make charts about their gender and sexual orientation, is now being investigated for engaging in inappropriate communications with students. I think with the internet, the information is just more available to everyone. I don't think politics has changed. I could be wrong. Affairs or shenanigans. Shenanigans. Effing rhinos. He looks like a prick. Yes. Rand Paul, such a disappointment every day. Wilcox has reportedly turned in his resignation letter and remains under police investigation. Well, gee, you think this guy right here, you think this guy would have inappropriate communications with a child? Do you think so? I mean, what about him screams diddler? You know, what says diddler? I don't know. Is it the face? Is it the smile? Is it the glasses? Is it the haircut? Is it the overalls? What is it that screams diddler? I don't know. It's a combination of all, and it just screams diddler. On May 12th, law enforcement officers with the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office and Crossville Police Department responded to Cumberland County High School regarding allegations involving a teacher and inappropriate communications with a student. The teacher was immediately placed on suspension. Investigators initiated an active investigation. At this time, no additional investigation information will be released until investigators have completed the investigation and consulted with the district attorney's office. We take all allegations involving the safety and well-being of children very seriously, and we will conduct a thorough and professional investigation of this matter. As with all criminal investigations, the accused is presumed innocent until proven guilty by a court of law. Dun, dun! See here, the student claims they made him draw charts to say he made me put in my religion, my first lower class, what my pronouns are. He said he's a progressing Christian and he's high in politics and does protests. Yeah, that's him. Dun dun. President Trump goes off on Massey for sending out a text to supporters that Trump endorsed him while voting is underway. The statement that he put out is fraudulent, just like he's fraudulent. Yeah, Trump was pissed. Massey tried to send out this thing to try to lie to people and trick them, that paid for by Thomas Massey for Congress. I think he might have this might be a campaign violation because you cannot send out fraudulent stuff like this.
Your candidate can beat him, and what are you seeing?
Yeah, Thomas Massey's a terrible congressman. He's been a terrible congressman from day one. Dealing with him is just horrible. I don't think he's a Republican. I think he's actually a Democrat. He's not a libertarian. You know, sometimes they say he's really a Democrat. He votes against us all the time. He voted against the border wall. He voted against men playing in women's sports. He voted against transgender for everybody, the mutilization of your children. He voted against, again, open borders. We have the best border we've ever had right now. Nobody's coming in. I mean, a report just came out. In the last 11 months, literally nobody has been allowed into our country illegally. We're taking people legally. They go through a process. But nobody's come into our country. But we've taken out hundreds of thousands of people. We had 10,000, it was 11,888 murders. Many of these murders allowed into our country from prisons. They were in prisons. Many of these people killed more than one. More than 50% killed more than one person. This was gross malfeasance. This was on behalf of the Biden administration. I don't know Biden because I don't think he knew he was alive. But Kamala, was the border czar. She never called, not one time, she never called the Border Patrol. She never called ICE. She never called law enforcement. She never went to the border. Think of it. I used to call every single day. And that's recently. Now I call less. We have nobody coming through. We had caravans coming through with tens of thousands of people pouring into our country. We had no idea who they were. We would have been, I'll tell you what, our country would have been destroyed. If they won this election, our country would have been, we have now the hottest country anywhere in the world. If they had won the election, our country would have been destroyed. Our country was a dead country 2 years ago. And now we have really the hottest country in the world. And this is the ballroom, and it's going to be something incredible. You see the quality of it.
Yeah, he's claiming that nobody's coming into the country illegally now. That's what they claim. I don't know if that's true or not. They claim it's completely shut. I'd be shocked that people aren't still making it through. You know, like that there's not still some making it through. That would shock me. Here's the whole thing from a Kentucky voter's phone. How compromised, how disgusting. Senate Republicans are reportedly livid with Donald Trump after he endorsed Ken Paxton, appearing stone-faced in the hall, sounding angry. Yeah. They're all pissed. Yeah. She's a Democrat, Murkowski. Thune's an idiot. And that's, who is that? That's Wicker. That's Wicker from Mississippi.
It is so good to be here. I guess I'm a little late. I was waiting on a little announcement. Did y'all see that? Well, first of all, Carissa, thank you for being here. She's so amazing. You are so blessed to have such a great state representative. And I'll tell you what, I'm so honored to have President Trump's endorsement. His endorsement, in my opinion, is the most significant endorsement in my lifetime. So when he endorses, it has a tremendous impact. We're already doing really well, but certainly I have so much respect for the president and so appreciate his endorsement. And I think it creates a slight bit of momentum, don't you? Yeah. It is.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would say if they're making it in, I would say if they're making it in, they're not getting a free ride, a phone, a hotel room, a monthly check. Yeah, they're stopping. I mean, Congress is a bunch of hyenas. It is. They suck. They really do. The ATF said he sold 5 guns to informants between February and May, all while he was wearing an ankle monitor for a Cook County gun case. This guy, that Top Gun looks like it's a piece of crap. Like, look at it. It's all old and crappy. That bottom one looks like a Smith & Wesson. Or is that a Beretta? That might be a Beretta. 92. Possibly. I can't get a good enough look at it. Chicago man brokered 5 gun deals while on electronic monitoring. Why don't you rename it to safety monitors? A Chicago man brokered 5 gun deals while on electronic monitoring. Is that a Beretta? That is a Beretta. Or no, that's not a Beretta. That's one of those Turkish ones. The top is an old Model 10 Smith & Wesson. Okay. That's one of those I could barely make out. It's not a Beretta symbol. It's I don't know, is it TSAS or something like that? The Turkish model to make the Berettas. What's it called? A Yumban or something like that? Oh, okay. A Yowan, something. It's like made in Turkey. A Turkish copy. Nobody coming in is an exaggeration, I'm sure. I'm positive there's a lot of illegals. Go to Walmart, you'll see. Oh, there's a ton in the country. A Taurus? Is that a Taurus? I thought that was one of the copies, though. That doesn't look like Taurus symbol. Maybe it is. I know Taurus made copies, but there was another company like a Egyptian. I'm thinking maybe it's an Egyptian. Maybe the one I'm thinking of is an Egyptian copy of the Beretta. Taurus. Taurus is Brazil, right? Gerson. Yeah, maybe it's a Gerson. I can barely see the symbol, but it doesn't look like Taurus or Beretta. It looks like it's got a pine tree in the center of it. Yeah, the illegals are from the last administration. Chicago man on electronic monitoring for a pending Cook County gun case is now charged with selling 5 guns to undercover federal informants while he was wearing an ankle monitor. Yeah, it's Brazilian, right? Taurus is Brazilian. Donald Daly, 32, is charged with possessing a firearm while under indictment for a felony. He was arrested shortly after completing his 5th sale to an undercover informant. According to the federal complaint filed by the agent with the BATF, the alleged sales between February 5th, when Daly sold a Beretta 9mm pistol with an obliterated serial number, they're saying it was a Beretta. And on March 27th, he sold a Heckler and Koch 40 cal to the same informant. And a second one, a third sale, Daly sold a 9mm pistol with no serial number to a second informant. And a third, 9 days later, he allegedly sold 2 more guns, a 380 and a 9mm. That pistol on the top was a revolver. That was like a 38, right? That's not on the list. The final chapter, when the first informant began exchanging messages about another gun, Daly sent photos of 2 firearms and agreed to sell them for $1,200. That afternoon, ATF agents wired the informant and sent him in, recording serial numbers before surveilling him as he traveled to meet Daly. Hidden camera recorded Daly handing over a box containing the guns, received cash. When questioned, Daly told agents he was a middleman in the gun sale operation. Pending state case that had him on ankle monitor stems from an arrest last May. Police charged him with possessing a stolen firearm and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He was placed on electronic monitoring. Court records and the federal complaint show that the ATF spent and alleged that Daly was wearing the monitor during the gun sales. So they're out here. That was a pre-Model 10 large knob on the ejector rod, dates at pre-World War II. So I'm saying that was an old gun. Why use that picture of an old gun? None of those guns, they kept saying 9mm and a 40 cal. That's what they were saying. And yet 9mm, 380, that's not any of those, unless they're confused. Maybe they're calling it a 380 pistol instead of a 38 caliber revolver. Maybe they got it wrong there. Otherwise, why are they showing the picture of that gun? Because that gun is not a 380. That gun's not a 9mm, maybe 38 caliber. Yeah, it's possible that the media just screwed it up, is what I would think. You know, like they are tend to do. Like they are tend to do. Like they are tend to do. Okay. Check this out now. J.B. Pritzker paid gang members to be peacekeepers. One of those thugs took part in the Magnificent Mile smash and grab that killed a dad before he got to meet his baby. This is state-sponsored crime. Here's the guy right here with J.B. Fat Slob Pritzker right there. This guy standing next to Pritzker killed somebody. But he was one of his paid peacekeepers. They're paying gangs just because, you know, like, here, take these money, gangs.
This is Governor J.B. Pritzker pictured alongside a peacekeeper 6 days after this photo was taken. Court records claim this man, listed as both Keller and Kellen McMiller, was part of a violent crash and grab on Michigan Avenue that killed a young father-to-be.
Chicago police say it was a squad of 7 who shattered the Michigan Avenue storefront of Louis Vuitton and sped off with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of designer goods, killing a father on September 11th. Police say this man, listed as both Keller and Kellen McMiller, pictured here for a prior arrest, was one of the fleeing thieves. Court records show McMiller had outstanding warrants in Cook County, Florida, Wisconsin, and Indiana.
Yeah, he's here. He has active warrants for his arrest, and he's there with J.B. Fat Slob Pritzker. So you're going to tell me that Fat Slob Pritzker's security detail didn't do fucking background checks on the people who were meeting with him? That sounds weird. That sounds like a lack of oversight.
Days earlier, McMiller had posed with Governor J.B. Pritzker at an event with peacekeepers. In a statement to ABC7 in response to our email asking about the picture with McMiller, Pritzker's office said in part, "We were extremely troubled to learn that this individual was arrested for his alleged involvement in this serious crime, and we expect them to be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law." McMiller is charged with murder, burglary, and
He had
fugitive
active
from
warrants,
justice in
though.
the deadly crash and grab on Michigan Avenue. Court records reveal an extensive and violent criminal background, including drug charges, domestic battery, armed robbery, and probation violations in Cook County. He was charged with battery against a police officer and resisting arrest in Miami-Dade County last year. A signed warrant indicated McMiller was violating supervision. Governor Pritzker's office included this photo with McMiller, which has since been scrubbed as part of a press release touting the success of the Peacekeepers program in reducing violent crime. The Peacekeepers initiative receives tens of millions of dollars in government funding each year.
They receive tens of millions of dollars every year from the Illinois government. If you're in fucking Illinois, vote accordingly. That's all I can say. Probably does other business for him if you're picking up what I'm putting on. Yeah, they're probably out there basically like, listen, Fat Slob Prickster is using these people to go and do shit that he wants done. People that don't listen, they're breaking windows, they're threatening people. This has long happened in Chicago. Gangs go out and do shit to help the politicians. Certain politicians you have Hispanic politicians who have the 2-6 in their pocket. You got other politicians that have the kings. It happens, and they go out and do stuff, and they help them. You know, say it happens in the black community too. You got the Peace Stone Rangers, Vice Lords, the Gangster Disciples. They're out doing stuff. They're working hand in glove. You know, it's perfectly encapsulated if you ever watch The Wire. And you see how they're paying the politicians. They're going to the thing. They're giving donations. It's how it works. That's how it works in demon rat cities. It's straight up thug life. Yeah, that's where the gangs get their money. They're government funded. Well, they get some of their money. It's a piece of the money. It's a piece of the money, but it gives them like. What it does is it gives them like a cover, because then the cops get told basically like, yeah, those guys don't fuck with them. They're part of the peacekeepers. They're doing this and stay away. They basically get a pass. You put on this yellow vest that says peacekeeper, and then you can walk around with a gun. You can be selling drugs, and the cops ain't going to touch you. It's basically like a, get out of jail free card. You can smell what the Rock's got in his crock pot. Yes. Can't see Bella's alive. She's scratching and everything. Everything. Yeah. Convicted ex-fraudsters handing out millions in state-funded grants to ex-criminals. What could go wrong? Bamami Abadola, community manager. Look at this. Oh. Former State Department of Child and Family Service Administrator who resigned amid controversy plead guilty of federal charges. He used his post to steer business to companies he owned. Yeah, that's the guy right there. That's the people. Look at this. Look at this. Holy smokes. HHS just confirmed that the Somalian UN Security Council President, Abakar Osman, is associated with proven Medicaid fraud at a Cincinnati, Ohio home health agency. He's president of the UN Security Council. HHS has previously taken action against Progressive in response to conviction for Medicaid fraud. Let me repeat, the Somali link to Medicaid fraud literally led the emergency UN meeting today where countries attacked the U.S. for arresting Maduro. This guy is Somali's representative to the UN. Look at this. This is the deputy secretary that they confirmed that this ambassador, permanent representative to the UN, is in fact associated with the Progressive Healthcare Services, a home health agency in Cincinnati.
Good morning, everybody. The 10,085th meeting of the Security Council is called to an order.
Probably something like this. Peacekeepers.
As this is the first formal meeting
Probably, I don't know,
of the Security Council this year, I should like to extend my warm wishes on the new year to all members of the Security Council, the United Nations, and the Secretariat.
How the hell did Smellia get a part on the Security Council?
In presiding over this first formal meeting of the Council, in 2026.
All right, well, whatever. This guy, he's a fraudster. 2,000 Somalis moved from Minneapolis to Faribault, Minnesota, an hour south of Minneapolis in a relatively rural town. Lola Lee says, we need help to the school board, and they push for $1 million grant for drug protection. The district gets the grant, and neither them nor the state provide any real oversight. And, of course, the grant money gets scammed. What's worse is none of the paperwork for what they're spending the money on is for drug abuse. The money all goes to smelly programs like soccer leagues or prayer centers.
Tonight, 5 Investigates reveals how a convicted fraudster is connected to state grant money awarded to a Minnesota school district.
For months, investigative reporter Eric Rasmussen has been pushing for transparency and asking who's looking out for taxpayers here.
Well, Lindsay, Kevin, the state gave Faribault Public Schools nearly $1 million. It was a grant to prevent drug abuse back in 2022. We're following up now because one of the champions of that cause was charged with fraud just months after the money started flowing.
Just months.
We need help. They're the first words on this application to the state for $1 million grant. Now 5 Investigates is connecting those words to the woman who said them.
Lul Ali. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Lul Ali.
We need help. It's not just a school. We need help. Big help.
Months after urging the Faribault School Board to go after grant money from the state in 2022, prosecutors charged Lul Ali with stealing $5 million from taxpayers. She's now one of more than 50 people who've pleaded guilty to fraud connected to Feeding Our Future.
We've had several meetings with this lady and a group of people over the last 3 months about it.
These recordings reveal Ali played a key role in the school district pursuing the grant from the Minnesota Department of Human Services to fight drug abuse within Faribault's minority population. At the same time, she was actively stealing millions of dollars from taxpayers. What did you think when you learned that?
And I will say that was quite a shock to us. That was not something that was known to us during that time period. And that is something that the district took as a giant blow. And we did then really start vetting who was it that we were working with.
That's not the only question we had for Faribault Superintendent Jamie Benty. When the money's coming to the Faribault School District, where does the buck stop when it comes to accountability?
Well, I mean, that's an easy answer. It's me.
Mr. Chair, the motion passes 5-1.
Thank you.
Former school board member Richard Olson was the lone no vote on accepting the grant from DHS.
Was something funny with that. It's something strange.
Later, he said getting information about how the district was spending the money was difficult.
It's just not given to the board. It should be for the whole board and not to a selected group.
And you've asked for updates before?
Oh, yeah. And do I get them? No.
Does the district have a transparency problem?
I don't believe we have a transparency problem.
By the time I showed up to speak with the superintendent at a public meeting, we had already spent 6 weeks asking the district how it spent all of that grant money. Now, after an open records request, they sent us this stack of documents. But there really wasn't much detail in here beyond total amounts for salaries and payments to nonprofit partners. So we pushed for more. Did you ask anybody here at the district how these partners were performing?
So I have not. That has not made it to my level at this point.
2 days later, we got a new stack of records from the district. Finally, details about how it spent $979,000, receipts for new soccer goals and other equipment for a Somali youth soccer league, as well as accounting for after-school programming and youth engagement events. All of that is supposed to be collected by the state.
Theoretically, there's 2 layers of accountability in there. And that's how it is supposed to work.
Nonprofit attorney Jen Urban says her clients are under more scrutiny than ever. From a statewide crackdown on fraud to lawmakers proposing new restrictions on grants and public assistance, transparency is critical. With everything that's been going on, are these fair questions to ask about where this money was going?
I think it's very fair to ask the question of where the money is going. And I think that as taxpayers, there should be some accountability there.
Now, this whole time, we've been asking the Minnesota Department of Human Services to talk to us about how it keeps tabs on this grant money. They've refused all of our interview requests so far. But just this morning, DHS gave us This new stack of records 2 months after we started asking for it. Yeah, as you'd imagine, I've been going through it all day. The bottom line here is that DHS found Faribault schools, quote, in compliance with the grant. But again, this is all information that had not been shared until, of course, we followed up.
You got some homework there.
Took a while to print, too.
We'll be doing it for a while.
Eric Rasmussen.
All right, this story starts.
Yeah, so just think about this. $1 million here, $1 million there. They keep taking the money. And our taxes just keep going up, and we keep going into debt, and it just keeps happening. And I don't know, how is it ever going to stop? Is it ever going to stop? Are we ever going to get accountability? I mean, we need to start seeing people in bracelets, very shiny, very nice, nickel-plated bracelets being led along out to jail. That's what we need to see right over here. Very nice. Send them to jail. That's what we need. That's what we need. Pell Grants crushed the college system. Yeah, it's been brutal. What's up, Kofi? Great to see you. Well, everybody, we went 3.5 hours. We did not hit the second goal. We didn't even have a single donation in the entire second hour. So, third hour, I'm sorry, the show. So I think that's it for tonight. I'm going to send you over to some good people that are covering some news topics. I might pop in their show. We'll see. Say hi to them if you do. And, greatly appreciated. Come back tomorrow, Wednesday, 7 p.m. for Jim to tell you the news.